Hello, and welcome back to the Pretty Little Podcast. We're your hosts.
My name is Phoebe.
And my name is Caroline, and today we are going to be talking about a lot, okay? There's a lot of pop culture. There are a lot of current events. There's a lot of television. So I'm feeling alive. I don't know about you.
I feel pretty good. I'm in Atlanta. I'm a little bit tired. Yesterday, they said it couldn't be done. Me getting up before the hour of 6 a.m. and getting on the road.
Oh my God.
But I did. Because...
Wow, and she's going to be talking about this for a while.
I had to get here before they left so they could show me around because it's somewhere I've never been. So I had to leave. I couldn't leave on Friday, so I had to leave Saturday a.m. And yeah, that was... But it was a good drive, actually. It was not bad. Not a lot of traffic at all.
Were you falling asleep at the wheel?
No, I got a coffee from Starbucks and I had a LaCroix. The first thing I drank that morning was LaCroix. So I think that...
Wait, why did I think you were like not a LaCroix girl?
Well, because I don't really buy it because they don't sell it at Aldi. Or they do sell it at Aldi, but the Aldi brand tastes basically the same and it's like $3 cheaper. So... But and they come in 12 packs at Aldi. That's one thing I don't love about LaCroix is that and same with Bubbly, for some reason they only sell them in 8 packs. And I'm just like... Did
you not used to like sparkling water? Like,
no, girl, I used to pack them in my lunch.
I know. I mean, it's mom. Mom doesn't like them. Mom says they're like too spicy.
Yeah, which I get. But I think that's what I love about it. Is that like it?
That's
why I had it first thing in the morning because I was like this.
A crisp pamplemousse LaCroix.
It feels like you're injecting your veins with sparkles, you know?
Wow. That's a great... Guys, sponsor us. What's your favorite LaCroix flavor?
It probably is pamplemousse. But I like a citrus. I don't like really... I don't... Actually, take that back. I like lemon lime pamplemousse.
Yeah.
I like the mango.
Berry is really good.
Really is me. I don't like those flavors.
Really?
I'm very specific about the flavors that I like.
I feel like the berry has a lot of flavor.
I think that's what I don't like. I like when it's just a hint. Because I'm drinking it for a different kind of reason. But Target recently had a 3 for whatever, like buy 2 get 1 free, buy 1 get 2 free of 12 packs, Diet Coke not included. So I was on a
classic
Dr. Pepper kick because that was included, which I'm always like scratching my head. I'm like, how do you determine which ones are on sale? And
that's true.
This also rarely happens. Canada Dry, the ginger ale that mom likes, that was and that is the best because that is like...
It's expensive.
Number one, it's expensive, but I like having that as like, that's like, to me, I'm never going to be someone to sit and make a mocktail, but at the end of the evening, I do want like a drink that like feels like it takes the edge off. And that's what that does.
Let me explain to you. That is my favorite thing right now. I don't really make cocktails very much, but I will make a mocktail, but I don't make like a full mocktail. Like I will do
too much work to me.
My idea of a mocktail is a wine glass with ice in it, and
that's what mom just puts her ginger ale in those fun cups.
Wine glass. I love it. It makes me feel I love it. So I'll have a ginger ale like that. I like a bubbly, like a blue bubbly like that is great, or the lemon lime. But also my new favorite are the high-rise beverages. I fucking love it. It's like a local Charleston. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's a local Charleston company. And so it's this seltzer and it's 5 milligrams of THC and 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams of CBD. And it doesn't really get you like stoned or anything like that, but it just really makes me feel so relaxed. And I had a few in Charleston, like at restaurants where like people were getting drinks and I would just like get those. And it was so nice. I felt like I didn't have the social anxiety that like I get all the time from drinking because I'll start feeling myself loosening up and I'm like, girl, you better keep it in check because you're not going to like you in a few minutes because you're going to start being annoying and like you're going to just be stressed out and embarrassed, even though Phoebe thinks I'm like more fun to be around when I'm drunk, but I think I'm more annoying to be around.
But that's I bet a lot of people
nice,
feel
and
that
it
way.
Literally tastes just like juice. Like it tastes so good, but it doesn't have like a lot of sugar. It's delish. So anyway, that's my new
bars recently.
favorite.
I love it. But yeah, so that's that. I'm in Atlanta, And last week, these are my updates. I saw the movie Ma. It was re-released into theaters for one night only, and I had to admit to my friends, so like me and my friends, like we send each other Ma memes all the time. Like we like.
Oh my god!
But I had to.
So you had to admit that you've been a poser this entire time.
Guys, I've never seen it. I've never seen.
Were they mad at you?
No,
were they like,
so
who have we been
thrilled.
talking to this whole time?
They were so excited that they were gonna get to. Because I was like, they were like, do you know the story? And I was like, I mean, I feel like I do at this point. Like, I feel like I've seen the movie in clips.
Really quick, can I pause you really quick? Because I just need to mention that I haven't seen it.
Well, I'm not going to spoil it because...
Okay.
But the thing is that I think everybody thinks they've seen it. Like, everybody thinks they know the story of it.
Exactly.
But you don't.
I feel like I get
You
it.
actually could not guess how this movie unfolds. And I literally...
Did you love it?
I loved it. I have not had that much fun in a movie in like a long time. Since Wicked, probably.
Wow.
And also it was in a... Because it was a re-release, the people in the theater were all fans of the movie. And they had like... at the start of the movie, one of the Blumhouse brothers, or one of the Blum brothers, he like did a little thing and he was like... Because this is what I've always wondered. I'm like, how did they get Octavia Spencer to put that wig on and do this role?
Yeah.
And if you don't remember, this was she was coming off of her Oscar win when she said yes to this role. And so the Blum guy was like, we had this crazy idea and Octavia Spencer had just won her Academy Award and we called her and we were like, hey, like, we have this movie that we think could be a really fun choice for you. And she like fully hopped on board and embraced it. And then, so we think that that's all that's going to be on the screen before the movie. No. Octavia Spencer, of course, she sent in a video to be included and said, like, said all this stuff. She was like, I did not expect this movie to take on the life that it has. And I like that Blumhouse has been able to, they still do like real horror, but they've been able to shift into kind of the campy horror that becomes cult classics, like Megan, M3gan, of course,
Jennifer's
like
Body.
all these things that are like,
well, I don't know if that's Blumhouse. Okay, well, I'm sorry, I was just gonna okay, wait, question, is it and I'm not correcting you, I'm asking, okay?
It's Blumhouse.
I always have to like preface it with that it's not Blumhouse.
No. We also I think I've always said Blumhouse, but I never really knew how you said it, and then he introduced himself and the last name is Blum.
Okay, thank God.
So it's Blumhouse. Okay,
perfect. Because I knew a family with the last name Bloom, and it was spelled Blum. So I was like,
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Just asking.
But we were just in a theater of people who loved the movie. We were all like, you could hear some people like saying the lines. Like it was just really fun.
It didn't bother you?
No, not in this movie. I think if it had been like a new release, I would have felt differently because I'd been like, all right.
Yeah, you would have been bothered.
But it's
not that hard to bother
this just felt fun. I wasn't at my home theater because they didn't announce that they were doing the same thing until after this other theater did. And my friends, they have like the equivalent of AMC A-List at this other theater, so we ended up going there. Okay. They don't know Diet Coke, and I was reminded of why I like going to my AMC. Pepsi. And also my order was $5 more than it would have been at AMC.
Okay. Well, and imagine that. So it would have been probably $10 more or $20 more than it would have been at Cinemark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really? Oh my God.
It was just, I'm
glad you loved it.
I was blown away by the film. I was actually blown away by it.
Can I tell you something about, just because you mentioned the Wicked movie? So sorry, are you still finished talking about Mom?
Well, no, I don't. Since you haven't seen it, I don't really want to get into it too much. But yeah, guys, okay. I'm finally really joined the ride for it.
Love that. Okay, well, I'll watch it this week. Fine.
It's leaving soon on Netflix, so you gotta get there quick.
All right, tonight. Okay, tonight. By the time you guys are listening to this episode on Tuesday, I will have seen it. All right. I will record a voice note and let you know what I think. And Phoebe can do the same with spoilers on the Patreon. Oh, that'll be fun. Now you have to do it because I just said it. Did you guys like our fight last week, by the way? Did you guys like our fight? Where Phoebe took out when I got the receipts for my point, and she kept in the actual fight, but she took out the part where I was like, yeah, look at these 4 dates that I've sent you a text. That was diabolical of you.
Well,
it was diabolical.
I didn't do it in a malicious way. I just was chopping up the fight, and that part went on really long, and I was interjecting. So
because there were there were so many texts that
I kept interrupting you. Anyway, it didn't.
And thank you for saying that.
It didn't end up. They still like. I think we still affirmed that you had texted me, so it didn't really matter that they had the dates.
Well, now we have.
All right.
Now we have. It is funny because Tara texted me and was like, I'm fucking dying at this conversation. I was like, oh yeah, I was dying at it too. Anyway, Tara of Gilmore to say, you guys know. Anywho, point of me bringing all this up is that last week I got my hair done. Thank you for saying it looks good.
Great.
And well, that feels forced, kind of.
Well, you
anyway,
fished for
I'm
it.
in there.
You catch
I'm
what
in there.
you fish for.
We've already recorded an entire episode. She said nothing about it. So anyway,
I like that quote I just came up
just
with. You catch what you fish for.
Well, that's not always true.
Well, it is when you're fishing for compliments.
Nuh-uh, because sometimes I love just not doing it. I love if someone's like fishing and I'm just like, and I just like don't bite. Ha. I'm a fish with a high IQ, okay, and we're not used to those, I guess. Anyway, you guys, anyway, I'm not calling you a fish with a low IQ. Stop making that face. I'm literally not calling you a fish with a low IQ. What I was saying is, I was getting my hair done.
This is an example. You fish what you catch for. I'm trying to hear it bad. It as an insult. So I'm fishing what I'm catching for.
Okay. I'm fishing what I'm catching for.
I'm catching what I'm fishing for.
Guys, we're workshopping it, okay? We're literally you're in the writer's room right now.
Ever wondered where these kinds of sayings come from? Like these classic like phrases that everyone says.
Like this.
It's and you're like, man, who was the first person that ever said that? It's like this is kind of what it probably looked like.
It's like moments just like
someone
this.
probably said, man,
like,
how the tables have turned, but maybe they didn't get there on the first try.
What was that thing that I said? They're like beating a dead horse.
Oh, yeah.
You remember? I was trying to think of it the other day and I couldn't remember how I botched it.
It was like two different sayings.
If anyone can remember, I know I put two together and it ended up being like something about like beating a horse.
Yeah, but that's
something like that. But it like wasn't. I know, but beating a dead horse is. I don't know what it was. If anyone can remember, can you tell me? Because I don't remember, but I thought it was funny. I'm getting my hair done, and across the salon, I hear two people, a hairdresser and her client.
I just really hated Wicked.
Well,
no way.
Kind of. They didn't say that. They were talking about how long it was. And they're like saying that they were like, yeah, did you realize that the Wicked movie, like someone wanted to watch it and I went and looked, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. Like if you think I'm watching that, you're crazy. And they're going on and they're like, I would never watch something that long. Like that is way too long for a movie. That's ridiculous.
Hey guys,
like
I want everyone to know we're cooked.
I literally spoke up. I was across the room. And okay, I am kind of like the court jester when I'm there.
I just got embarrassed.
Did it chill just run down your spine?
Yes. Me in my mind's eye, I'm like, it's like slow motion. I'm like running, trying to intercept you from saying anything.
Trying to stop this from happening. I'm getting my hair washed, and like, just imagine me like, like shooting up like a zombie.
Water goes everywhere.
Have a confrontation.
There's soap in your eyes, so your eyes
like,
are
Caroline,
closed. Your eyes are closed, and you're just like, no. Here's the thing. You don't understand.
You don't get it. No. I am a little bit of like the court jester at this place. They, for some reason, love when I'm there. Mom goes there now.
It's just
too.
like Z-Nails.
Yeah, they love when I'm there, and I didn't realize, but I like had that moment where there was like someone in there, and I didn't know her name, and she was like so excited that I was there, and she was like, "Oh my god, I love when Caroline's here! I always make sure I schedule myself when Caroline's here so that I can also be here and like hear the stories, and blah blah blah." And like, yeah. And I was like, oh my god, what is her name?
we find out that Caroline goes to this hair salon and just like makes shit up the whole. That's why people like her. She's just like making stories up.
It's literally like, and I'll be like sitting there talking, and I'm like fully just like doing the podcast, like sitting there talking, and I noticed everyone in the room was looking at me. I feel like everyone is like,
I think we've talked about
involved.
this before. I feel like I'm so much better at collecting my like I was talking even just to Kitty and I went on a walk yesterday and I was talking to her about this audiobook that I'm listening to, and I was like, whoa, I just like really formed an opinion so quickly on things that I hadn't really thought about, which is a good and bad
and that could be a good thing, or it's good, it's not good or bad.
It's not good or
it
bad.
Is not good or bad. It's not good or bad. Yeah, exactly. No, but I just like notice sometimes, and then I like always drop in that I have a podcast because I'm like, just in case.
Which, by the way, Mom has been doing in Italy, up and down the country of Italy. Mom has been telling everybody to do a podcast.
She keeps texting us, okay, I've got a 30-something-year-old girl who should be tuning in.
I also love her.
Like, okay, well, look out for her.
I also love how she's like, and
Hey,
she
girl.
said she will be listening, and I'm like, I'm sure she said she'll
like,
be listening.
I-
I guarantee you she said she will be listening.
sure of
I'm
it.
sure.
Hey, Mom, she probably already listens. Hey, Mom,
global.
she probably already is subscribed, okay? Anyway, I just, like, hear them saying this, and I literally sat up, and I was like, you might be surprised. You might be surprised.
It's giving the Hillary Duff commercial where she overhears those girls talking about a dress, and one of them
something is gay.
Goes, that dress is so gay, and Hillary Duff goes,
What if I said, wow, that dress is so girl wearing a skirt as a top?
Hillary
When you
Duff,
say something is gay, do you know what you're saying?
Hillary Duff, Mandy Moore, and Ashley Tisdale.
Oh my God.
They were the queens of like cool girl, like
Cool girl woke culture.
You were so that part of the Kat Cohen special where she walks into Chipotle. She was up here. I'm all like, but walking into Chipotle, I'm just like, and that walking into Chipotle, that energy is Hillary Duff, Mandy Moore, and Ashley Tisdale.
And Caroline Connell in the hair salon confronting
Kind
this
of, but
girl who
that's
said that Wicked was
different.
too long.
Actually, maybe we can Hillary
because this is serious.
exactly.
Because this isn't a laughing matter. This isn't like a gimmick. Not that homophobia is either. That's
So
what
we can
the
imagine if we
commercial's about.
okay, that's the title of that. Homophobia is a
No,
gimmick.
it isn't. Hey, no, it isn't. Oh my God. Anyway,
Is homophobia a gimmick?
I just was like, Phoebe Connell, shut the fuck up. Phoebe Connell, shut the fuck up challenge. How about that? I just said, you might be surprised. Like, I just want to let you know that, I don't know, like, I mean, I love Wicked, but I was watching it. I couldn't believe it was already over. Like, I couldn't believe, like, at the time flew by, and like, everybody says that. Like, I really think if you put it on, you might be like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, you really might love it. Like, you should really just give it a try.
And
like, imagine
what did they
missing
say?
out on this moment.
Were
They were just like,
okay.
The girl getting her hair done, I was like, she like didn't really seem to get me. She was like, and then I was like, and then the hair girl like knows me, and she was like, no, just go with it. She's like, just go with it, okay? To her client, she's like, no, I think you're right, Caroline. I think this is the girl that does Mom's hair, actually. I was like yelling at.
She and Mom have been talking about how long Wicked is separately.
Yeah. Well, it is so funny because Mom came in and started talking about something with like her life, and my hair girl goes, oh yeah, Caroline told me all. Starts talking about it. It was about the
Right when everyone thought I was gonna get bangs, when the whole world was on the edge of their seats thinking I was gonna get bangs.
Speaking of bangs, let's get into culture. Let's talk some culture. Let's talk Overcompensating.
Speaking of bangs,
the new show from Benny Jump. Carmen's bangs. I hate them.
They're not great. I don't love
I'm
them.
like, girl, if your whole thing, I can't tell if she's supposed to be a hot girl
Me
or not.
either.
Because they keep trying to like make her one. Okay, so if you're not watching it, and if you're not familiar with Benito Skinner, where the fuck have you been? He's been Anthony wasn't, and Anthony and I are watching this. He's like, where?
Anthony not.
He goes, where did he come
Anthony
from?
not knowing who Benito Skinner is.
I guess
is
that's
okay.
true. In my mind, like
He's everywhere.
Anthony knows all of this because it's like I feel like I came out of the womb knowing who he is.
Fair.
Even though I know I didn't, but like I feel like Anthony should, and then I'm like, oh, I've taught you so much. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, you're like this because of me, right? Okay. Let me explain. And so if you don't know who he is, that's crazy. I'm sure you do. But he like got to start making fucking videos online. He's like one of those comedians that I feel like kind of came up with like Kat Cohen, Matt and Bowen, like that sort of like era of comics. And so funny. His Zodiac like series. Oh, that was one of the first videos that I showed everyone.
I loved his Kourtney Kardashian and his Shawn Mendes.
Oh,
but my favorite
what a
videos of him,
fab.
my favorite videos of him are the ones with Terry's mom.
My boyfriend's mom. Those videos are iconic.
She's like she really plays along.
His boyfriend's family.
And she like,
and I think it's amazing.
It. She loves it.
Well, and I especially like the parts where he'll go and he'll be like massaging Terry's dad's shoulders and stuff. And I'm like, the fact that they're all like so in on it and cool with it, it really does warm my heart. It's what a power couple too, to be Benito Skinner, who is also genetically perfect. Like he is Anthony was like, he's jacked. Like, what? How is he so jacked? He's supposed to be a college freshman. I was like,
know, they
yeah.
all. Here's the thing: all these people are like so annoyed online that they're all like old, and I'm like,
Carmen looks age appropriate.
and I'm just
I
like,
think.
guys, it's called suspension of disbelief.
over
Who
it.
gives a shit? Like, who
We've
cares?
been saying that. We have been saying, hey,
Have
guys,
you guys
wake
ever
up.
seen the movie Grease?
Wake up, remember suspension of
Have
disbelief?
you guys ever seen the cultural classic, the movie that changed our mom's life, Grease?
Why do you bring up Grease?
Because they were like in their 40s playing high schoolers.
Oh, because they were, yeah, no, it's true. Well, it's also like, I'm sorry, just because you didn't notice it in these other shows didn't mean it wasn't happening. Every show you like, that's happening.
If Benito
Like,
Skinner wants to play an 18-year-old, he should get to.
He can do it. He should get to. And now he's said it. Okay. And if I was on Let's Culture Recess, I would say, and that's rule of culture number 9. If Benito Skinner wants to play an 18-year-old, he should get to. It is such a genius show. Like, it's so neat to see him get to like fully kind of like tell pieces of his story through this that so many people can relate to.
And he included all these people from like his come up, which I really think, even just
Yeah.
in little ways, but also like people I didn't
Yes.
even notice I knew from like I saw a fan cam of Carmen's roommate, like just the character, like all her greatest hits of lines.
Oh,
And I
my
saw that
God,
someone I
she
follow
is-
reposted it, and then I clicked on the profile and I was like, oh, it's her. I follow her. Like, I've watched her videos forever.
Okay, she seems so familiar.
Well,
to me.
it's because she doesn't normally
the
have
way
makeup
that she
on.
speaks. Oh my God, she is so fucking funny,
So
guys. So if
funny.
you're watching Carmen's roommate, I mean, but the thing is, she's like a great friend.
Yes.
Like, as much as she is
She's
this
like if Hannah were actually
obnoxious, psychotic. If Hannah were dumb and like on crack and like crazy and all these things and like saying, I mean, there's this whole plot line where Carmen's brother died a year ago. And the roommate keeps like commenting on the picture, being like, so pissed I didn't get to meet you. Have fun up there, King. Like, that's how she like talks
when
about
I mean,
it.
I was immediately sold on her, but when I knew she was a star was when Carmen says that she has a brother, and that she goes, is he hot? And Carmen says, he actually is dead. And she goes, pisses me off. Like the way that she
Her timing and delivery.
like, she like looks around to see if anybody's gonna say anything.
It
pisses me off.
I mean, I was laughing out loud so hard. Like, I could not stop
she
laughing at
does
her.
steal the show. I also, you guys know I'm a big Mary Beth Barone fan. I
Love,
am. Have you finished the
love.
show?
I'm a Baroni. No.
I'm like, where's her storyline going?
Well, right now to me, I think it's clear.
What do you think it is?
She's closeted.
That's what I think. But that doesn't
Yeah,
seem
I mean,
to be the vibe.
Really?
I don't know.
I think it. Okay, well, at this point in the show, we're on episode like 4 or 5, and like that's
what I thought.
Mimi just showed up.
That's what I think.
So like at this moment, I'm like, oh, that has to be what's happening here. And then her like listening to the radio.
That's what I thought. Okay, I'm not crazy.
You know?
I'm not insane.
No, you're not crazy. And Anthony thinks it
Okay,
too. We all were talking about it. But never mind, I can't say this on air.
What?
No, because what if you don't delete it? I can't.
Okay.
I don't trust you as far as I can throw you.
Which is not very far because I'm so light. I'm not very aerodynamic.
Well, the wind might carry the wind.
Yeah, but
depends on which way the
can't
wind's
throw
blowing,
me
I
that
guess.
far.
Well, that's true because I'm also very light.
Well, Anthony,
So I don't really get
far.
that. I don't really get my bearing.
don't really get my.
It's like throwing a tissue. Have you ever tried throwing a tissue?
You can't.
Don't crumble it up first. Have you ever tried?
What about a
Don't put your
feather?
snot in it to weigh it down. Try it. Anyway. Okay. So guys, if you haven't watched it, you gotta watch it. It's on Prime. It's also just like, it's one of those moments. I felt this way when Bowen got picked up for SNL. I felt this way about Chloe Fineman as well.
People feel proud
Which, by the
of
way, what a
them.
year to come in that both of them came on the same year. That is kind of crazy. No, I feel so proud. I'm like, just watching him
Well,
like
it's like
through
when
the years
Pat won
get
his
bigger
Emmy.
and bigger.
When Pat Regan
Exactly.
won his Emmy, I was just like, all right,
Won his
all
Emmy.
is
No,
right
yeah,
in the
totally.
world.
I agree. On the Seek Treatment Reddit, some people have been kind of like bashing Kat for not watching Hacks. What's your opinion?
She doesn't watch it?
No, she's never watched it. And I believe that she said she won't be. And then the people are defending it because they're like, well, I think it's normal for someone in the industry to not want to watch it. And I'm like, but also it's like your best friend and like supporting him. Like, just watch an episode. He won an Emmy.
I don't think it. I think that's a little weird. And it's not like it's like It would be different if it was some like weird, like heavy show that like isn't very popular.
If it wasn't a show that everybody's watching and talking about, and that it hasn't been winning Emmys for years now, like, consecutively.
No, I think that's a little. I think that's a little weird.
Makes me feel the way I felt when I saw that Matt Rogers was out of focus on the cover of Las Culturistas.
By the way, guys, Jenna Bush Hager, I'm talking to you. You've one job.
You know what to do.
You get a couple more months of doing this Jenna with friends bullshit.
Yeah.
Until I want to see Matt Rogers' name up there. All right?
And I mean, I'm sorry. The way that our hearts were just so warmed, just watching the comments only of support. I saw no negative comments.
I saw one negative
about
comment.
Matt Rogers.
Not to profile, it was from a gay man. So I'm like, I don't even care.
Oh,
I was expecting to see negative comments from like the people who just like casually watch the Today Show, being like, he's too much.
Yes, I love the screen grab of the moment where Matt Rogers is talking about like how he like knew he was gay, and he's like, I was like hanging out with girls, and they were all saying they had a crush on Justin Timberlake, and I was like, I want to say that, and his face gets all like contorted. It's like he looks so cute.
They felt so, like it's such a natural chemistry, and like their way their banter because. I think it's different when she is like
so much fun.
When she is real celebrities. Not that Matt isn't a real celebrity, but
okay,
I mean like
watch it.
People who don't like Matt he is willing to be in the interviewer role, and like he is very talk show oriented in that way. Where like some people who are like just actors or just musicians, like they struggle with getting that kind of charisma that Jenna Bush Hager has, and so like they just had this give and take of like there's that one thing where they're talking about Brandi Carlile for some reason. And it's like no one else is in the room because Jenna Bush Hager goes, and you know that's the woman I would leave my husband for.
Yes. And Matt goes, are we saying this? Did we just say it? Are we saying this? But it's like, I feel like part of why that happened is she felt so safe with him. Like, safe to talk to him about anything, because also Matt is so good at yes and.
Yes.
Matt is so good.
Never
and
kills
that
a
is
joke.
and that is one of the really beautiful things about Las Culturistas is they both are. So it's like there are times where I know Matt goes into a rule of culture that Bowen maybe wasn't like super on board with.
But he'll hop
Bowen
on.
will always do it. And like just moments like that where they're not gonna like drop the ball for the other person. They're not gonna do that. But what a moment back to Good Morning America. Like what or Jenna and is that Good Morning America?
No, it's the Today Show. It's the third hour of the Today Show.
I keep getting them mixed up. I've done this 3 times this week with different things. But it's like that. What a moment for him to bring him into so many living rooms and on his own, not on his own with Jenna, but like kind of introduce us as him, not Bowen and Matt. Like, you know, I just loved it for him. I think it would be a great choice, but I don't know if Matt would do it.
He
like,
better.
He would in theory, but like,
hey, Matt.
He also has so much going on. Like his lifestyle would have to change tremendously.
Matt, but I need it.
I know. What if he was just on like once a week, even like that? Would I could do that. Fridays,
I could do that.
Jenna. I could do that.
Let's send Jenna an email.
I could make that work.
One more thing about Jenna Bush Hager. This was a while ago, but she had Amy Poehler on, and Amy played Jenna Bush Hager on SNL. Like when
Wait, no, I didn't see this.
You know, Jenna Bush Hager was like, she was the party girl. Like she was at school when her dad was president and like getting fucked up. And so, and like they kind of treated her like she was dumb. And that was the SNL gimmick, was
Hannah Marin treatment.
Amy Poehler was like playing her like she's so like, it was Tina playing the other Bush sister and Amy playing Jenna. And they were talking about it, and like what I love about Jenna is that she like isn't offended by it at all. Like it's like what Anna Gasteyer said about seeing Jimmy Carter watching himself on SNL. It's like she was like, she didn't say this in a way of like, any other person would have said this next story in a way of like kind of annoyed, but Jenna Bush Hager was like, and you will never believe, like at that time, like I wasn't like party girl Jenna anymore. I was like elementary school teacher Jenna in like DC and like laughing about it. And Amy Poehler was just like, thank God that you can like laugh at yourself. And that's how Matt is. I just feel like they are so, it would be perfect.
They had great chemistry,
but
it was really great.
Last thing about Lost Culture, it's officially Lost Culture is officially a pillar of culture, I feel, because last night on SNL, we get another skit of Bowen is still straight, and it's Scarlett Johansson having a crush on Bowen, which is so funny. And
I didn't see last night's episode yet.
Oh, do you want me to? Never mind.
No, it's okay. You can talk about it.
There's at the end of the scene, Scarlett Johansson comes, Bowen, like they like hook up in the skit, Bowen and Scarlett at work. And Bowen's like, you should come over tonight, but like not like after 2 a.m. and I'll make you dinner or something. And she like knocks on the door and she's like in like this red dress and like clearly like got dressed up for it. And he like is in his boxers and a tank top and has a gaming headset on. And he's
my God.
he's like, Scarlett, what are you doing here? And she's like, you told me to come over. And he's like, oh, come on in, I guess. And then you see Ego Wodum come out of the bathroom, like is zipping up her dress. And he's like, there's some like tendies in the air fryer if you like want to eat. And then Ego leaves, and then Heidi comes out of the other room and is in a Las Culturistas shirt.
Wait, I love that. Oh my God, what a sweet moment. Wait, they never get to do that.
I know. It was awesome.
Like they never.
And I love that Scarlett Johansson. Like, we just love when people will just have fun. And you just
fucking have fun.
And you know what? ScarJo's on the list. People who will just have fun. Matt Rogers,
she's
ScarJo.
100%.
Jenna
you know who
Bush
else
Hager
is having fun right now and who I think has heard about the fact that the Pretty Little Podcast is going to be switching to Gossip Girl in the fall? Ed Westwick. Have you seen his new Juicy Tubes, his Lancome Juicy Tubes ad?
Yes, I did see that ad. And
what are your thoughts?
I think it's fun.
He did snap right back into the Chuck Bass energy. I don't really get it.
I don't really get it either, but I do love when people who were part of those kinds of shows don't like shy away from it. Like I like
stop trying to erase your history. Yeah.
I like that.
And I like how he said, "Oh, it makes me think of a certain limo ride." And he's like fully in his Chuck Bass. Oh my God. It's right now we're watching Gossip Girl and we're in a part where Chuck is like kind of redeemed himself a little bit, which like is such watching it back. I am like, how are we going to talk about some of this stuff? It's like, I mean, but a similar way with like Ariana's right. You just are like, well, we know how the story ends. So we kind of have to like
go with it,
get on board. Oh my God. But Anthony got Gossip Girl spoiled for him. Did I tell you this? I know. I'm so bummed out because he was so sure. And sorry, guys, spoilers. But if Anthony got it spoiled for him, then the jig is up. Okay,
it's
everyone's
like,
getting it spoiled.
Do you remember that tweet that was like, "Since you guys want to be assholes for Taylor, Iron Man dies at the end of Endgame." No, I'm not kidding.
I love Swifties.
No one.
And then it going, and then probably paying bots to make it go viral, like for sure, so that everybody would see it. No, I'm not kidding.
So I would just
Brian Freeman, I would step off. That's me being Jack Black in School.
I knew it immediately.
Step off. Oh, thank you. Anyway, what I was saying was what
he got Gossip Girl spoiled.
Yeah, so Call Her Daddy. Alex Cooper posts a promo for her episode with Penn Badgley.
Oh, we should talk about that too.
Says,
we should talk about you.
You were Gossip Girl. We're like, oh my God, like how did you feel when you found out you were Gossip Girl? Like whatever. And Anthony saw it. And he was like, Caroline. And he was so on the Chuck train. And I was like so content with him to be on that train.
Right.
But now he just, So
that sucks.
I'm so bummed, but whatever. We're still watching it. But I was like, now I can ask you what you think, because I was like, would it be fun when we do Gossip Girl to go into it being like, okay, so from the get-go, we know Dan's Gossip Girl. So
yeah, we may as well.
Like, is that fun? Is that a fun twist on it? Or
I just wish,
is it better to just like not?
I just wish these writers would like admit that they didn't know who it was going to be until the end. You know what I mean? Like,
because that's the thing about it. If we're gonna go into it being like we know it's Dan, it's not gonna make sense every episode. Like,
no, and that's how I felt about a lot of the A reveals. It's like
how are you going to be? Yeah, true. How are you going to be sending these texts about your sister to Gossip Girl, Dan? Like, and what?
It came out of, at least for Pretty Little Liars, like the final A reveal. It like pretty sure we figured out that it was because Marlene King like didn't want it, like she didn't want it to be a fan theory that people had like thought it was. So she wanted to come up with something that no one would ever come up with, and you did.
Wow. Well,
and
she did.
Marlene.
Well, she sure did. She sure did.
Did you watch You? Yeah, this new season, the final season. It was pretty good. It was fine.
I like the girl the main girl this time. She's in Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, and she was in Orange is the New Black, which
Madeline
I didn't realize.
Brewer.
I saw a podcast, and she was talking about Orange is the New Black. And I was like, I recognize you from Handmaid's Tale.
And she's blonde in that.
She's got the blonde cornrows and like all the tattoos.
Yeah.
Man.
I think so. I have been seeing a lot of commercials for Poker Face, the new, or not new, season 2 of Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne. And season 2's got Cynthia Erivo. It has John Mulaney.
Wow.
Like, it's like, and the commercials are really, really funny. And I was like, how have I like not seen the show? So I went back and watched episode 1 of the first season, and it's got Dasha from Orange is the New Black. I don't know her last name, but she plays
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's like one of the main ones who like has a relationship.
She's the one
with
who's
the
with the
guard
police
and gets
officer?
pregnant. Yeah. And so anyway, so they're both in it. And the first episode, Adrian Brody's also in it. I don't know how I missed it.
Whoa.
They do something similar to if you've watched Mayor of Kingstown. Something similar.
I know that. I feel like those shows came out the same year. Mayor of Easton.
Well, they're not similar at all.
I know, but
Mayor of Easttown and Mayor of Kingstown. I know.
It's very weird.
So annoying. And they're both like Mayor of Kingstown is shot in Pittsburgh, and Mayor of Easttown is like a PA based show. They all have like Pittsburgh accents basically in the show. So it's kind of funny. Anyway, but yeah, so I started watching it, and I don't know that I think the first season is really going to be that funny, but the second season looks so good, so I think I am going to watch the first season so that I can get in the second one because I want to support my girls.
I'm back
but I did
on
see
Grey's
the tweet that was
Anatomy,
like,
kind of.
Oh, you are?
A little. I just needed
Wow.
something to watch the other day, and I put it on, and I think I'll probably.
Are you watching Vanderpump Villa?
That's
what you need to
I
watch.
do need to watch that too.
Put that on instead. And thank you. At least season 2 because of Stassi. Did you ever watch season 1? We're going to talk about reality TV, but let's keep talking. One more thing I need to point out about just culture in general is that the Golden Globes has added a new category to the Golden Globes Best Podcast. I'm like,
Yeah.
great. Now I have to write a speech. Now I have to write a speech. I'm going to spend the rest of this year
Right now I have to find a
working on a
dress.
speech. It's 2026. What am I going to wear? And then the other thing is like, who are we going to bring? Because mom is going to kind of freak out if she isn't like,
I hate to say it,
married.
Anthony.
So it's like,
I hate to say it, Anthony. It's Mom and Kelly.
okay, that would be great, but like that is really mean to my husband.
I know, but
So it's like, who do we choose, Mom or Kelly?
that's what I'm saying. Anthony would understand more than either of them would.
I don't know. Oh my God. It's like Golden Globes. Do you see what you've done?
Kelly's
You've
your
created
Matt.
this
Kelly's
whole
your
new
Matt.
issue for us. Yeah. Well, you're my Matt.
Well, on the podcast, but I just mean in terms of friendship.
I don't know. Are you
We're
the Matt on the
coworkers.
podcast? You and I are coworkers.
Hey, newsflash, we're not friends.
We're coworkers and
This isn't friendship.
relatives.
This is work. We're on the clock.
Coworkers and relatives. And I won't even say sisters because that implies some sort of connection. Anyway, all right. Let's get into other people's business a little bit.
I won't even say
Yeah.
sister.
Literally. What do we think about the Blake Taylor extortion claim of it all? So guys, here's like what happened.
Yeah, you say what happened, and then I'll say my opinion.
Friedman, Baldoni's lawyer, submit a letter to the court.
He gives the
basically saying
farmer,
that
the guy from Hamilton who sings "Farmer Refuted." That's
Farmer
his whole
Refuted.
energy. That's him every time he gets like
a solution.
every time he gets something that he think can like screw over Blake or anybody connected to Blake, he
Yeah.
puts a fucking soapbox down and he waits until the
Yes.
cameras and the microphones come to him and he's like, okay, is everybody recording? Because I'd like to hear my voice back. So
Well, it's like I'm sending this letter to the court, but also to everyone in the world because of what he knew would happen. And like, so he sends this letter basically saying that the reason we need the subpoena, the reason we need Taylor's text is because he is confident that there are going to be messages revealed that that Blake said, that Blake's lawyer said to Taylor's lawyer something that if you do not make a statement of support on social media for Blake, I will release 10 years of our text messages.
which is crazy if that's true. What
I'm
I
like,
think,
well, it's not true.
Well, also what I think is interesting is he's just such a child, Brian Friedman.
Yeah.
Someone called me and told me someone told them that someone close to Taylor said someone told her this thing about Blake.
Which is what like everything this rumor right now too that Blake tried to have an affair with Justin and he didn't want to, and that Brittany Mahomes found that out from Taylor and then she told a bunch of people. That's also something that's like circulating
frankly,
right now.
Would buy that Brittany Mahomes
Like,
would go around.
Would buy that, but the thing is, I don't buy that Taylor told Brittany Mahomes that.
No, I don't think so either.
I
but
just
I also
do not buy that for 1 second.
Here are my thoughts.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying
that
Taylor did not tell
that
Brittany
clear.
Mahomes that.
What I also want to make clear is like, okay, maybe this did happen, and that is not a good look, and
Yeah,
that
who
will
knows?
definitely change my opinion on a lot of stuff. However,
Although I really don't
and
think
people
that this
often
happened.
like they will say to people who don't think that it happened, they're like, well, he's like risking perjury by saying it, and I'm like, but
No,
he
he
didn't
isn't.
name names, and
But
also
listen, wait, I need to say this. You can't perjure yourself until you're in a courtroom. He's not under oath.
No, but he did say something to a judge about it.
He wrote a letter, but I mean, it's like a legal complaint, whatever. Like that isn't his whole case. You can say whatever you want. Like
That's
you
what I
can literally
thought,
say
but
whatever
people-
you want.
Yeah.
No, and they're wrong. That's the thing is like they're wrong. Just because it's in a case does not mean it's true on both sides. Like that is
Right.
until they are under oath, sworn in the courtroom, they cannot perjure
So then
themselves.
I'm back
It's
to my
not perjury.
then I'm back to my original opinion because the judge threw it out. That's what I have been pointing to since the start. Like the judge said, I don't care.
And the judge said what I've been saying, which is that all of this is, quote, on information and belief.
Yeah.
Or on whatever I said. So I was like reading over his whole complaint, but way back when, and I was like, this statement is in front of every sentence. What does this fucking mean? And I Googled it, and all it means is like, this is what I think. This is my opinion. This is my guess based on the evidence, based on what I've been told, not even like evidence. You know? And so that is what the judge said. He was like, Friedman submitted this on information and belief, and like it's not true. And I just think what he's done now is created this massive tabloid thing, which by the way, the damage is done. He already did it. Like,
that's all he wanted.
But the judge said, I'm throwing it out. And what sucks is like the court of public opinion doesn't care about that. It's like the judge threw it out, but they're stuck on what allegedly happened. And for me, I have a really hard time believing that Blake, and it's not about what I think about Blake. I can't imagine a friend saying to a friend, when you both have that level of fame, knowing what that could mean and how that would incriminate both of you. I cannot imagine saying, if you don't show support for me on social media, I will release 10 years of our text messages. If you wanted to continue to be friends with Taylor Swift, that's not something you would ever fucking do. And I think that would incriminate Blake as well. And I just I don't believe that happened. Like, not because I think Blake's a good person, not that she wouldn't do it, but I just think a friend, Taylor is the godmother of her children.
Well,
Like, I just don't see that happening.
They are both business entities at the end of the day. Like they know that there's a business aspect to their relationship, and I think that they're not going to risk it. And I just now Brian Friedman has already built up this whole case for the court of public opinion to think that Blake is terrible. So now it doesn't matter. They can point to this and be like, well, like, cause you're saying, I don't see her doing this as a friend, but they can. That's the friend. That's who they believe Blake to be at this point.
Well,
and
exactly.
She might be.
And that's
she might
what's
be,
so tough.
but that doesn't make her guilty. And also,
it's honestly,
you know what also doesn't make her guilty? Being a bad actor or being a shitty person. Or being unlikable. Like all that, it doesn't really, like, those things don't matter. That's not what the conversation should really be about.
And like all of those things might be true. Like that, she might be a total fucking bitch.
But by the way, I watched the beginning of Another Simple Favor, and I was like, okay, she kind of eats in this role. Sorry, she and Anna Kendrick eat together.
The end of it gets a little crazy.
Well, I did see that last scene of when she's. Spoilers, when she's playing the other version.
Yeah. The other version of her I didn't like, but it's a fun campy movie, whatever. It's not going to stop me from enjoying content that like she's been part of, because I don't think that she's like a dangerous person like these other people do. But it doesn't mean I don't think she's a total fucking bitch. I just think there are a million people on earth who, if you ask them what they thought of me, they might tell you the same thing. And it doesn't mean that like it's okay to go through things or whatever, like be lied about like this. At this point, it's so far outside of like what the initial point even was that I'm like, why are we just now like, we're bringing in Taylor because we're losing steam. Like we're running out of things to get us in the tabloids, and we've got a whole year. You know, we've got a lot of time that we need to keep people interested and on the hook before this jury is going to look at it. And I mean, so the Depp stands kind of like came for us last time, and they were like, well, you know, the jury found whatever. And I'm like, since when has a court decision like ever, like, I mean, sometimes they're legit, but a lot of times they're not, especially in cases of domestic violence, sexual abuse, sexual harassment, rape. Like, so it's just, and like, also,
it's not like that was the first time they had ever been in a courtroom together. And he had been found guilty.
Right.
Also, like, sorry,
It's also not a question. We know.
Like, sorry, he's just not exactly someone I'm gonna put all my fervor behind. I don't really care.
No.
I don't care enough. And that's what I said last week. What I said last week, the people who are willing to, in my opinion, look at the case objectively and make it an opinion that oftentimes leans more towards Blake's side of things, those people who end up Team Blake are not, like, they're not going to go in the Spotify comments and say, well, actually.
If there's someone that you would rather, like, I would much rather people take up for Justin Baldoni than Johnny Depp.
Yeah, totally.
But I think it's interesting to me that it's a lot of the same people. And I don't think it's a coincidence.
And it's about him, the person,
like,
not the case.
Yeah. Right. And I'm like, he can be a great person and have made mistakes because, again, you don't have to prove intent with sexual harassment. Like, I really want to remind you guys of that. You don't have to. Like, you can unknowingly sexually harass someone. It happens all the time. That's why they have seminars at work when you go to work. That's why they have to show those things, because it happens all the time. And people are like, well, I didn't know that's what that was. And it's like, it's a very difficult issue to nail down, and that's why, because you don't have to prove that I intended to do something to you. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like, it's tough. And I don't know, like, Blake can be the biggest bitch on planet Earth, and she can suck, and she can be all these things, and, like, still deserve to win this case, you know? So, like, I don't know. And the thing is, Baldoni's team is not making it easier. They're not making me want to root for him more with all this stuff. Don't bring my girl Taylor into this much. Yeah, because now I don't want to root for you.
I think that was a real mistake, and I think that they'll find that to be true.
Well, and he's losing his credibility. Like, with the judge throwing the judge is going to be fucking annoyed with you.
I think the judge already is.
You're losing
the
your
judge
credibility
is, like, fed
a little
up
bit
with it. And the
so
thing is, I think we've got a good all the legal people I've seen on TikTok, which makes me a lawyer, in case you didn't know, watching legal stuff on TikTok. That seems to be the consensus.
Yes.
But they are really impressed with this judge, and I think he or she seems very balanced in the way of, like, there was that thing that Blake asked for a couple weeks ago that was like,
and they said no.
They were like, no, that's
a
too
gag
much.
order.
Yeah, and they were like, which I still like. Now I'm like, can we revisit that? Can we revisit what they're allowed to say? Like, because this is and now it's like affecting people in her life.
Well, that's why the gag order matters, because, again, until he's in court under oath, he can say whatever he wants. Like, that's why they asked for the gag order, because, again, I'm writing my legal complaint and I'm putting together my argument and what I think, and I'm looking for every piece of evidence that I could skew. But then once I'm in court, that's when I have to defend it. That's when I actually have to, like, get in here and be speaking the truth. But until then, I can say whatever I want. So that is why I think the gag order, they asked for it. I wonder if now, you know, I mean, hopefully Friedman will cool down a little bit also, because, like, I want to be objective when I see this trial. I want to be objective in how I look at it. But the more things we do like this, it's like, God, I just don't like you. So now I don't want to, which is, I guess, how people feel about Blake. But I think we're looking at two different issues. So I don't know. That's the opinion there. I don't believe that Blake extorted Taylor. I don't think you would jeopardize the relationship with the godmother of your children like that. I
also think when are we saying the extortion took place? Have we seen them together since then? But, you know, if that's true, then yeah, that would be fucking shocking and horrible. And I would have thoughts on it if she said, I wouldn't be shocked if Blake said, would you please make a statement? And Taylor said no. I just don't believe that the response was, and if you don't, here's what I'm doing. What an enormous breach of trust. And we don't know these people, but Taylor's not necessarily one to come out and make a statement of sorts.
No,
it takes
historically
it takes a lot for her to do it. And she
didn't want to be attached to this.
And also, I mean, then she's implicating herself in some kind of way.
I also don't feel like Blake, like, wants her to be involved in this. Like, I don't feel
Blake's
like
trying to, like, act like everything.
And maybe I'm, like, misrepresenting their friendship. But in my mind, I'm like, if it's my friend, I'm like, God, don't get involved in this. You do not want to go down this road. You know, like, at this point,
I hope so.
I don't know. So that's what I think about all that. Should we move into some reality TV?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, fine, I'll say it. I'm stressed all the time, and it's messing with my hormones. Between work, keeping up with the latest pop culture news, and everything else, I just feel so out of balance, and I know I'm not the only one. So I'm going to help you out. Happy Mammoth offers a free 2-minute quiz that can help you figure out what the heck is causing your hormonal symptoms. It couldn't be easier. And after the quiz, you'll get a personalized recommendation to help balance your hormones and start feeling better already. When I took the quiz, it suggested that I might be going through estrogen overload. And I can pretty much blame that for the way I've been feeling. One of the recommendations from the quiz was to take Hormone Harmony, which y'all know we love. And it has literally helped me so much, you guys. I'm less bloated, I'm less tired, and okay, fine, I'm less moody. Since I started taking it, I've noticed such a difference. Taking care of your hormones isn't just about feeling good right now, it's about investing in your long-term health. When you take the hormone quiz, you'll learn more about your hormone balance, and you can make small but intentional changes to support your body. Whether it's with Hormone Harmony or another Happy Mammoth product, the quiz really helps guide you towards solutions that work specifically for you. So, ready to start feeling like yourself again? Head over to happymammoth.com and take their free 2-minute hormone quiz today to find the ultimate answer to your stubborn hormonal issues. And for a limited time, you can also get 15% off your entire first order with my code PrettyLittlePodcast at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code PrettyLittlePodcast for 15% off today.
Mormon wives, dude. How is it that episode 3, the Halloween party, could have been a season finale? I think it's episode 2 because I started watching episode 3 and I got bored. Episode 2 is we see the aftermath of the Halloween party. The next episode.
Here's what I need to say: if we, and I'm speaking about Demi and Jesse. If Demi and Jesse and these other girls believe that Jen is in a dangerous, abusive relationship that they want her to get out of, and they understand that like the biggest fight they had was about Chippendales, and that is essentially what caused them to be separated last year.
And it's why you two specifically are so like, you want it to seem like you guys are such good friends and so protective of your friend.
But then what are you doing, like coming and meeting with him outside of Jen, not having her there, and basically saying, well, yeah, listen to all these horrible things Jen has said about you. Listen to how she's been misrepresenting you. I mean, I texted Phoebe. I was like, I feel like I just watched them become guys, girls right in front of my eyes. Like, they're like, well, the things Jen's telling us about you aren't really adding up. So, like, I don't like being lied to, like, blah, blah, blah.
It's like they immediately hear his side of things, and they're like, wait, well, that's not what we heard, so she must be lying.
Yes, and it's also such a fabulous representation of what an amazing manipulator he is. Like how good he is at getting people to just,
and also they were planning the Chippendales before they even met with him. So I'm like, you guys have this conversation with Jen about, it's making Jen so anxious. She's so like worried about this, and she's actively trying to work on her marriage, and you guys are like being shitty friends.
And you're actively trying to cause issues.
And then we go to your house and we see that you and your husbands think it's so funny to make fun of this thing that put your quote unquote best friend who you're so protective over in this situation.
Yeah. Like I thought it was really awful. And it's one thing like if they were going to have their husbands
it gave in a high school movie where like the mean girls come together to like massively prank and embarrass and humiliate the girl in front of everybody, because it's not even like it was like a funny like girls night, like it'll be a fun joke, we're watching a movie and then like the Chippendales comes down. It's like a massive party.
Well, and also it's one thing if you're like, okay, it's Halloween, we're gonna have our husbands dress up like Chippendales dancers and come down and dance. It's another thing to say we're going to put a chair in the middle of the room and have Jen specifically be the guest of honor. It's not her house, it's not her party. We're gonna have her be the guest of honor and have our husbands do basically lap dances on her while her husband watches, and we know they're in this really rocky position. And that day we had a full-on confrontation with her and her husband where we basically, it felt like 3 against 1, ganging up on Jen. And it's like, I felt like Jen was looking at them like, guys, what are you doing? Like, you are literally sending me into the lion's den.
And it wasn't
Why are you doing this? Like,
I'm
in a situation where when the cameras are down, this is really going to be bad for me. Like, who knows what this guy is capable of? Who knows what he's going to do to her when the cameras aren't rolling? And I feel like also in that conversation between Jesse, Demi, Jen, and Zach, we see when they're talking about the gambling, and they're like, well, Jen told us you gambled away all of your money from medical school. And Zach's like, what? That's literally ridiculous. And he's like shooting it down. And Jen looks at him and she's like, well, why don't you clear it up? Come on, tell them. Please tell them. And you look at her like, tell them. And like, she would not be doing that if that wasn't true. Yeah. And then you see a moment, I felt like I watched a switch flip in her face where she goes, that wasn't true. He didn't do that. And she just completely takes up for him. And they're like, so you lied to us? How could you do that? And they make it this big thing. And it's like, what if it's more complicated than that? What if she didn't lie to you? And right now she's terrified of her fucking husband. She doesn't want him to know this because who knows what he's going to do to her when you guys leave and the cameras are not. I think the reason they're having a lot of these conversations on camera is to protect her. I think that is why she and Zach are having a lot of these private conversations in their home about conflict with the cameras, because after the Halloween party, we get the next day. I don't know if you've seen this part yet. I don't know if it's in that episode, but Jen and Zach are talking and he flips out and she's like, last night, I need you to acknowledge that last night that wasn't okay. How you yelled at me and how you treated me. I need you to acknowledge when we got home. Please acknowledge it. Take accountability, like on camera. And he's like, get the cameras down. I can't do this. And
I haven't gotten there yet. I saw that in the preview, but
so it's obvious to me that like,
and also
he kept his
do
cool as much as he could while the cameras were there and while the people were there, and then they got home.
I think it's really interesting that we see the first episode of season 2. He shows up at the door with flowers and a suitcase, asking to come back, and I'm like, okay, so we see this thing that you were making fun of all throughout season 1. You're making fun of it. You think it's stupid. You think it's all dumb and it is embarrassing to you. And then season 1 blows up. You see how successful it is, how famous everybody's getting, how much money everybody's making. And then as soon as season 2 picks up cameras, you're at the door with your fucking suitcase. I'm not saying he planned it so that I'm sure that it just so happened that. But I'm sure as season 2 began to ramp up, I mean, like, I'm sure it was planned that, like, just hold off a couple days. We'll make this the first episode. But I'm sure as season 2 was ramping up, he was like, I need to start getting back in her. Because, like, I think maybe I'm seeing the benefits of this thing that I was really against now, and I want to get in on it.
I also kind of got the vibe. Like, I sort of felt like they were setting it up to make it look like, okay, we're going to get the audience back in our good graces. They're going to see you grovel. They're going to see that Jen stood her ground and you moved out and you're going to have to ask her to come back and all these things. I kind of was watching it like, I'm not even totally convinced all that happened. Like, I'm not convinced there was a very real separation, even when they're like in the ketamine therapy, which holy shit, when they're going to the ketamine therapy, he's like, should I write married or not? And she's like, today we'll be married. And I'm like, I have a feeling they've been doing this. And like, she's like, I need to show that like, I am strong and I did this. And now he's going to come in and first episode we'll have you groveling and the audience will be like, look, like they're working through it and he's being so great and different. But it's like, you can't really hide this shit from their reality TV cameras. And the girls on the show aren't going to let you because they're not good friends. None of you are good friends to each other.
And I texted Caroline this while I was watching because like, this show is so deceiving in terms of everybody's age. Everybody looks the same.
Yes.
And they either look freshly 18 or 35. So like it's kind of hard to
much
figure
older.
out.
Jessie looked really old and I cannot figure out why.
Guys, I think Caroline didn't acknowledge this, but she looks like Christy Nome. Everybody Google a picture of Christy Nome now.
I don't know if I thought she did, but it's okay.
She looks... It's the eyes and the hair extensions and that creepy Midwest vibe.
Phoebe and I were dying. Intro, Jessie's the only one who doesn't have to get her hair wet.
Yeah.
And she's the hairstylist.
Hey.
And I think that she does everyone's extension. So I also, as I'm watching her and Jen getting in a fight, I'm like, Jen, your extensions.
No, but I also
think
just
about your
say,
extensions. Who's going to do them now?
I also just want to say, if I'm the other girls and I have to see the theme song, and like because like listen, they're all gorgeous girls, but it's not the most flattering like title sequence. They don't because they're all soaking wet and like their makeup. It's like weird lighting. It's very bizarre. And then I see that Jessie gets to be
hair, and when it's wet, it's all like
Jessie gets to be dry.
Yeah, that was so crazy.
But I just
it's also the drama of the opening sequence is astounding.
It's so funny. I think but what I was saying about the age, it's like you guys. Jessie's 32. And Jen is 25.
I'm sorry,
also, there's
Jessie?
one girl who's my age, who's 24, and has been divorced and has kids.
Is that Layla?
I think so. I think
Layla's like so young.
Yeah.
She had a divorce party last season. I was like, well, you're like 21. It is crazy. I really also felt like it was so mean of Jessie and her husband to dress up like J-Lo and Ben Affleck.
They give and that's why I'm so confused.
And they literally said, we're going to roast Jen.
They are like obsessed with Jen, number one, obsessed with her, especially Jessie. The other one, it feels more like she's like, what's the other girl's name? It feels like to me is kind of like just along for the ride with Jessie, and Jessie, and not that she's not innocent. But I just mean, like, in terms of some of the things, like, Jesse is the one who's always bringing her up, the one who's always being a little more mean, the one who wants to dress like Jen and Ben Affleck. And it's just like, it's weird. It's weird. Yes. You're weird.
Yes. Well, and now, so you haven't watched Vanderpump Villa yet. You definitely need to. It's great. And Stassi is just such a treat. But the Mormon wives come. And they come to the villa and they have, a weekend there.
How do you think Andy Cohen feels about this? Hulu kind of coming for Bravo's crown. Not really. No one will ever take it.
I don't think it's
but
doing
just, like,
as well,
taking
but
Lisa
it's fun.
and Stassi, these two pillars of the Bravo community, and then also now this is so successful. It's just interesting.
It still feels like Bravo, but I know what you mean. The Mormon wives go, and Demi has a moment with one of the guys, and
they talked about that.
Yeah, but I also thought it was interesting that Jen doesn't out her. Jen's like, Demi, and Demi's like, what? No, what happened? Say it. And Demi literally wants her to say it. And it's like, well, it's already on camera, so it's going to come out anyway. But later on, she's going to use that against her. You'll see. She's like, well, I don't like how she put me out like that. But it's like, dude, you did it to yourself. Yeah. You did it on camera. It's weird. I'm sorry that your husband met you when he was 25 and you were 9 years old. It's weird. You're in a weird situation, Demi. It's all really bizarre. And I also thought it was kind of crazy when Demi was like, he put his hands on me. Brett, go get him. He put his hands on me. Chase is crazy and Chase needed to be kicked out, but he didn't even need a second of
it's giving he ripped off his shirt and starts chasing
him.
It's
I know his shirt was already off because he was in his Chippendales costume.
And then I love how they come down to the party and everybody goes, why are they dressed
why are you dressed like that? And why were they up there with one other random man who's dressed exactly the same?
To then
in this party? Yeah.
To literally go
to think it was swinging.
That, but also, okay, so he runs down. They get into a almost physical, but definitely verbal confrontation on the front yard. Then the police come and they have to completely dispel this whole thing.
And Jesse
and
says,
then we still
have
do
you ever
the
watched
Chippendales.
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? She says that to the police.
What killed me is the police go, no. And she goes, well, it's kind of, this is the only way I could really describe it.
That's the easiest way to explain it.
And it's okay, but you guys are them. So she's acting she's acting if we
how do I explain this? Could you go watch the first season and then
if
come
a
back?
party of ours got crashed and the police came, and we were like, have you ever seen Summer House?
Have you listened to the Pretty Little podcast?
No, what? Because the way
Yeah.
she says it is she's not they aren't the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So it would be us being have you ever seen Summer House? It's kind of like that. That's the only way I could really explain what's going on here.
No, it was
kind of Aria vibes.
Guys, the show is so good. And the Halloween party was so insane that we literally forgot to talk about the cookout, where Taylor's
I can't
family
believe they don't drink.
Should be... No, and that's the crazy thing. Anthony keeps going, God, these people are so drunk. I said, Anthony, no, they're not. He goes, they're all drinking. I said, they're drinking
sugar high.
soda. I was look around, there's syrup everywhere. They're drinking sodas. They are sober.
I'm sorry, a hangover is bad. But the amount of sugar that they are all having when they go to these, imagine how bad, imagine the stomach ache that they have.
No, I know.
Because they're all, it's not they're just all walking around with Diet Cokes, because they have to make it fun to drink soda as adults.
They're doing the syrup, and then they're putting cream in there, and they're doing the whole thing. Kelly texted, she's like, I want this so bad. Texted me swig or whatever.
Y'all have to come to Nashville. We just got a swig.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Kelly and I are going to have to figure that out because she really, really wants it. And she's going to watch Vanderpump Villa because she just finished Mormon Wives and loves it, and they talk about it.
We're slowly but surely getting her.
I'm like, Kelly, you are a reality head.
I just have to say, I went over to Mimi's apartment the other day and while she was cooking dinner, we just put Vanderpump on. And guys, I know we give Stassi so much credit and she's perfect. But Kristen Doty is the reality star of all time.
I mean,
the fact that we have a scene of her confronting Tom Sandoval, she has a flower crown headband in her hair and a tight slick back bun, and she is smoking a cigarette, and she looks at Tom and she accuses him of cheating on her, yelling at him about cheating on her. She fully is cheating on him also, and she's like, Tom, I don't know how you could do this to me, all this stuff. She fully is fucking his best friend. Not that I'm ever going to defend Tom Sandoval, but it's just the way her mind is wired, she's yelling at this man for cheating on him, knowing full well that she's also actively doing the same cheating on him,
and that she's on camera. No, it's crazy. You're right. She 100% is crazy, and that's why I am loving the Valley. She seems so mellowed out, but I mean, like, she's like, I'm on drugs.
She's still great.
Yeah, she is. Should we switch gears into the Valley at all? I don't really have a ton to say except that I don't feel like I should be liking Jesse more than Michelle, but I can't stand
Michelle's
them.
really
like,
unlikable.
Michelle is making it hard, and I feel like it should be a landslide. Like when they're on Watch What Happens and people are talking about like whose side are you on, we should be landslide Team Michelle. People are finally starting to be a little bit more Team Michelle because obviously Jesse's, but like the fact that Jesse is on TV calling his ex-wife a hooker should be, people are still having that hard of a time because I don't know. I mean, Michelle, it's insane to me. She's so mad at him for having this girlfriend, which I don't think he even has anymore because Sheena got involved and said she's been cheating on him. So I'm sure that's not even really happening. But like, I'm sorry,
you have a boyfriend.
Isabella says I love you to your boyfriend. That insinuates that there's like a relationship there that's been building. So if Jesse's allowing that, how do you get to have a say because you just don't like the girl he's dating? Like it feels so hypocritical. They both seem out of control. I don't know both seem if they like are still obsessed with each other or they hate
I was just going to say that. It's giving Michelle wants to seem like she is so past this.
Yes.
But she gets so worked up over it in a way where it's like there's still something here. It's weird.
I mean,
I don't want them together, but I just mean they're so obsessed with each other. Like, so they're only ever really thinking about each other. The only other thing I want to say,
Jesse does kind of eat sometimes with the way he's so when he keeps it together on camera, so she'll freak out and she's like, "Do you want me to go say it?" He's like, "Yeah, I do." And then she's like, "Okay, then I will." And he's like, "Okay, cool." And then he's like, just putting his shirt on. But I think it does make me laugh. And he's like, "Yeah, I do. I want you to say it. I want you to go do it." And she's like, "Okay." And she like goes down the steps. I'm like, here's the deal. If I were Michelle, I'd be acting the same fucking way. Like, he's got to be one of the most infuriating people to have to deal with as an ex-husband. I am sure it has been miserable. But you did cheat on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really hard for me to like get there when I'm like, you cheated on him. It's how I feel about Taylor and Dakota and Mormon Wives. I'm like, how are we having his back? He did.
No, that was crazy. We didn't even talk about it, guys. I texted. I was blown away when because I was kind of I wasn't half watching, but I was like on my phone, so I was half watching.
Well, that's what I literally texted you. I was like, I need you to at least watch episode 2 because I have to talk about this cookout with you. I had no idea the Halloween party was going to.
I was half watching, and then I hear the voice of who I believe to be Taylor's dad yelling at her basically and taking Dakota's side. And I was like, no way.
I couldn't. And the sisters way that she started crying, though.
The sisters talking a big game in the kitchen and then just letting it fucking happen and being like, should we take the baby inside? How about you stick up for your sister?
Can you imagine what I would have done if
Caroline would be
you
behind
brought
bars.
Home someone that was treating you like that? Oh my God. And I'm sorry, but if dad started like, that would never happen, but let's say that like dad started having his back.
If this were to happen, dad
would be.
You and dad would be sharing a cell.
Well, we wouldn't be sharing a cell. We'd both be in solitary.
And mom would be on the
can't have them around each other.
Mom and Lily would be Mom and Lily are pulling a Rosamund Pike and Gone Girl. They're like creating
Mom
new
and Lily are
themselves.
long gone, and you are, I don't know, you're at the house alone dancing in the basement. But like, I just couldn't believe the way. And then like, Dakota's
I'm just
like,
gonna start doing
Taylor,
that. Anytime I want to end a situation, I'm gonna bring someone home to you guys and tell you guys a lie.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like, this person cheated on me. This person completely.
Caroline handles my social media, and now she handles my relationship
and then
management as well.
And I'll be like, there's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I can do. Caroline handles it.
Yeah,
Caroline's in charge of me.
Wait, no, I didn't mean to tell her that you cheated. I know you didn't. I didn't say that.
I don't know why she thinks that. I do not know why she thinks that.
But you should probably.
But the way Caroline is, once Caroline gets something in her head, it's like that's in there.
You should probably.
There.
If Caroline says it, it's probably true. So you should probably.
If Caroline says it's time to leave, it's time to leave. So, anyway, yeah, I thought it was so insane. I felt so bad for Taylor. And the thing is, I do think Taylor is like extremely problematic. Like I'm like at the Halloween party, I'm like, Taylor, you were over there like trying to get them all riled up. Like you loved it.
Yes.
But in this moment, the way that she was crying, I was like, God,
it's
I
like,
know that. I know
but it's
that
also
type
like
of cry, you know?
You get these glimpses in these girls, which is why cultures like this are so fascinating and also problematic at times, is because you see, sometimes the curtain gets pulled back and you see how stunted these women are. Like they are so emotionally, and this isn't a dig.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. They're so emotionally immature. They are so emotionally young because
well, and I think part
of
it
how
is,
women
like,
are treated in those
get
worlds.
married and have children. They're literally like, Whitney kind of says it later, but like it's like these women are treated as though like this is the point of you being on earth is to like have children and be part of the Mormon church.
Single-handedly are holding your family together.
Yes.
So it's your job.
And it's just like when you have like kids.
Well, I was just gonna say the way the mom is acting, it's like if I have to bear it, so do you. Like you don't get to step out on your family if I had to stick around. Not that anything happened between Taylor's parents. Well, I guess Taylor's that was, but then.
That's Taylor's stepdad.
Yes. So you did.
Real dad.
So get out of here, Taylor's mom, about this.
And Taylor's mom's also crazy. I mean, her entire like face and body reconstructive surgery that she did, like, because she wants to look like Taylor. It's really weird. She's like, I want to go to the parties. It's like, you're not going. You're weird. Like the whole thing is so weird.
Ma.
The way that like
it's giving Ma.
Taylor starts crying so hard, and it's like that type of cry where you're like, only your parents can get that kind of cry out of you. Like when it's just like, I just felt like you see her like revert to her inner child, the way that she just like can't even handle it. And then Dakota's like, I don't know how to talk to her when she's like this. When she gets like this.
Looks at the family and the brother and the dad.
And they're like, I know. Literally, like I couldn't believe it. I just felt so bad for her.
Terrible.
And I'm like, it explains how you get to a certain place, like in this. And I mean, you'll see with Michaela's story, it's really dark. I didn't realize it was coming.
I think
Trigger
kind
warning.
of looks like Leighton Meester a little bit. Yeah.
Yes. She's been having this really bad skin stuff, like not eczema, but she's basically been having like an autoimmune reaction all over her body. And they've basically attributed it to stress because in this trigger warning for sexual abuse, but she was sexually abused for 5 years when she was a teen. And she was like, when I turned 15, I decided it was over. I couldn't do it anymore. And I told my mother and she didn't believe me. And so she's never like healed from it. And it was just like, so like she's talking to her friend about it. And then she's like, okay, well, I'd give you a hug, but we don't do that. And I was just like, and so now she's going to therapy for it, and they're showing it. It's
I didn't know. I haven't. I'm only halfway.
But that's what her skin stuff was.
Oh, that's
stress.
Terrible.
Her body could no longer like hold it in, and it was just like, and that's what happens. Like
the body keeps the score.
Yeah. You want to talk about Summer House?
Yes. So bad.
Okay, can I say something?
You better not. You better.
I need to talk about it.
Okay, because I in the notes it says Lindsay's POS, and I was like, you better not be about to dig on our girl. You better
I'm
not. To dig on our
I
girl.
saw some tweet that was like, it was a picture of Lindsay at the Freedom Dinner, and it was like, I don't care how you feel about her. You cannot deny she is completely genius and completely crazy. Love her or hate her, she's completely insane.
She's perfect.
Which is perfect. I mean, I'm sorry. Get this bitch on Roni immediately.
Like in my like my top 3 blondes in the history of Bravo: Madison LaCroix, Stassi Schroeder, Lindsay Hubbard.
Oh, I mean, okay, let's get the 3 of them a show. No.
Yeah.
Imagine. No, imagine.
Like kind of like I'm picturing kind of a show that is similar to, because I want them to be friends. So similar to like Undercover Boss or like Restaurant. Like the where like you see the people in the camera and they like send people into restaurants to like figure out what's going on in the restaurant.
What if it was like they just start a business together, and it's like maybe the 3 of them together could have some sort of like a Lisa Vanderpump type empire where Lindsay manages all the PR. Madison handles all of like the homemaking and making it look beautiful and all those sort of things. And then Stassi runs like the hospitality section of it because she's like Lisa's mentee, even though like it's so funny. And in Vanderpump Villa,
Lisa
keeps being like, she reminds me of you, even though you were a terrible server. And Stassi's like, no, I know. Like it's so, and Stassi keeps going, when I worked for you. And Lisa's like, I don't like using that word.
It's giving when you like kind of reconnect with a teacher that you had, and you guys are like
we can both.
Now you guys are
acknowledge
both adults.
it.
So like
it's like when I run into my statistics teacher, Mrs. Pessy at the pool.
It's actually kind of like when I handed my 10th grade English teacher a nice copy of Macbeth, and I had written him a note in it, and at the end of it I said, I picked this book because
I never read it.
In case you didn't notice, this is the only book all year that I did read, and we read it as a class. So, and he was reading the note, and he looks up at me and he goes, "You didn't have to put that in the note."
He's like, I actually knew it. Thank you. No,
he was the teacher when we read Antigone. I didn't read a single word of it. And in case Antigone There's no A.
I've read it 800
There's
times.
no A or O at the end of the name. It's not a name that we're familiar with. I didn't know if it was a man or a woman.
And you called it Antigone?
No, I didn't know if it was a man or a woman. I knew it was Antigone because everybody was talking about the book.
Oh,
everybody was like, Antigone.
You didn't know Antigone was a girl?
I was like, yeah, totally Antigone. And then there was this question about Creon and like all these names that were kind of gender neutral in my brain.
Yeah. Well,
so
Creon, I think that sounds like a man to me.
I misgendered every single character in the book on this quiz.
Oh my. Okay, and guys, wait, this is actually a really good learning moment for anyone listening. You need to, if you're not going to read the book, not only do you need to read Spark Notes, you need to go look at the character descriptions for everybody. Go to Wikipedia, look up the character list, and just see like if there's a movie of it, who played that person, girl or boy. Go figure that out. Just take a look at that. That will help you. That will be helpful, I think, too.
Yeah.
No, I think that would be a great business venture for them. But what I wanted to say about Lindsay, she makes this post. And it's a picture of her from her bridal shower last summer, obviously before she knew she wouldn't be marrying Carl. And so she posts that and she's like, what a difference a year makes. And she writes basically like all of her achievements over the last year. And also all of her heartbreak. She basically writes like, here is a year in review. Mm-hmm. And she posts it. And then we see everyone at the house before Lindsay's there talking about this fucking post. And I'm sorry, I thought it was such mean girl behavior, especially from you, Miss Amanda Petula. The way they're talking about it, they're like, oh my God, Lindsay's post, the novel, why did you write so much?
Amanda
and I will say,
she gives, if Lindsay had been at the house first and not Carl, she would have liked the post. She would have had a completely different idea.
Is who Amanda is going to be siding
because Carl was there, she's like, man, can you
fuck.
believe it? Can you believe this is crazy?
I can't.
Also, Carl, fuck off. This is not all about you. I know it's about you in theory, but she gets this. You screwed her over last summer. I'm glad you guys aren't married. I know you both are. I know we're all glad that it ended the way that it did, but you still decided to do it on camera. You still ruined her life for a couple months.
One other thing about Carl is like, Carl, you didn't just fuck over Lindsay. You fucked over every single person who bought plane tickets, hotel tickets, whatever. Like, you waited. I don't believe you didn't know. And you waited so long to do it that you inconvenienced literally everybody. And then you had the option to pick yourself up, but you weren't the one who got broken up with. You had time to kind of prepare yourself mentally for it before you ever did it. Lindsay is the one who if she feels blindsided, then that's how she feels. She might have known you guys didn't have a perfect relationship, but I don't think she knew you were going to give up on it. I don't think she thought that was the road you were taking. And like, so she had to rebuild her life because the rug got pulled out from under her. Whereas for you, Carl, you're the one who pulled the rug. Like you did, so it's just a little bit different. And you had the opportunity and option to rebuild your life this year. You didn't. Now you're going into softbar. That's great. Like whatever. But Lindsay is allowed to celebrate the things that she's done. And here's the deal. Do I think the photo she chose was kind of a weird picture? Maybe. I don't know if I would have chosen one for my bridal shower, but the other thing about it is, yeah, if that were like a regular old Joe, someone that's just like in your life and they did that, it would be weird. She's a public figure. We were all there for all of this. The cameras were up. We were involved, like she involved us.
And Amanda mentions this. And this is something that we talked about last week. Carl needs to get better at embracing the things that are like the thing about Mimi's sister and Maddie asking for the cameo from him. Like, can you give like more life? Like give like
say more life. These summer house energy.
The things that are your brand. There should be. And he doesn't do any, like he can't do that. And the same thing with the soft bar. He can't embrace that it could be funny if that was why it was called soft bar. Lindsay is the exact opposite. And she probably knew timelines are her fucking, like that's a funny thing about Lindsay's stint of time on Summer House. So she's leaning into these things the same way with the goldfish. Or she did Cheez-Its, he did goldfish. Like, she is the PR.
It's
her.
Part of it.
And
Amanda,
Carl,
if you and Kyle ever divorce, you'll do it too. I promise
you will.
I bet if you ever get divorced, it'll be during summer, and then you'll make Summer Should Be Fun your whole thing, and that's why you divorced Kyle in the summer. Like I'm just saying, Lindsay's allowed to celebrate these things, all of these wins, and it's not like she's going online talking shit on her ex-partner to people and like airing their dirty laundry. Like these are all things that we were aware of, and we know about it. So it's a totally different thing, and so I don't think it was bad. But what I really didn't like, as much as like, yeah, we all have people who post things and we're like, oh my God, kind of a funny thing to post or whatever, that is social media. However, for Amanda to like, for them to be talking bad about it, whatever. And then Lindsay gets to the house and Wes says, I saw your post. And Lindsay's like, and he's like, I read it.
It was very weird.
Why would you say anything? Like, and the thing is, they all think it's like funny, like Lindsay is the butt of this joke. Lindsay's on top. Like, what are you talking about? And then I hate it. Amanda goes, so I saw your post. Sorry, I mean your novel. And Lindsay's weird. Like, oh, yeah. And Amanda goes, I thought we were done with timelines. And it's like, how about you say, well, you know what? Even if you thought it was weird, why don't you say, oh, congratulations on everything you did this year. Like, and honestly, you know what? You could have had the year, Lindsay. Lindsay, you could have had the year Carl had. You could have lied down and rolled over and played dead and done fucking nothing. And instead you said, I am going to be the master of my own destiny. I'm going to take control of my life. I want these things. I'm going to make them happen for myself. So you should get to brag about it because you were down last year, not up. You know? Like, and
I think that's part of why Carl is so... Like, I think there's so much projection happening from Carl. He keeps being like, I don't think she's really moved on. Like, I don't think like she's pregnant, but I don't think all. It's like, Carl. One person looks like they've stayed still, and one person looks like they've gone 100 miles, and you're the one who just like. And I'm not trying to knock on Softbar. You don't have to agree with that, but like,
you don't have to agree with what Lindsay's
done. You're in
a
very different life position than Lindsay is, and it doesn't. She has moved on. And but the thing is that like it's not like you guys just dated. It's not like if Lexi's doing this in a year about Jesse, that will be a different conversation. But you guys were engaged, and that was also a friendship that now is completely altered and will never be the same. That's something that she's gonna have to look back. That's a very defining chapter of her life. It's not like you guys were just a fling.
Your coworkers. It's not like, you know, out of sight, out of mind. If you weren't living in the house together this summer, I'm sure you wouldn't feel like she's not over you, you know? And if she's not over you now, the second she has that baby and the baby's in the world, I know now she is, but like speaking from that time, she will be. So just like get over it, you know, like whatever. Should we talk about Lexi and Jesse?
Yeah.
Look, I think like, am I
a good
crazy?
episode for Lexi, actually.
I'm like, Lexi did the right thing here. She said, I'm not going to go through the whole weekend like playing pretend. I just think I'm realizing that he's not ready for the type of relationship that I expect and that I am looking for. So we're not a match. And for him to be like, I don't appreciate you like telling me like I'm a liar, I'm a piece of shit. And it's like, okay, well, you didn't tell all the truth.
It's the same thing that he said to Sierra last week. I don't like in the beginning of this episode, he's like, I don't appreciate you calling me. And it's like, well, I wanted Sierra to be like, well, you were acting that way. You were. Yeah. I don't want to have to call you that, but that's what you were doing, and you're making all of us seem crazy.
Yes. And the reality is Jesse is the reason that I think Lexi's had a hard time getting to know the girls.
I really like
that this entire season. He has been saying X, Y, and Z about Lexi, and look at how crazy she is. It's the classic men talking about a woman, calling her crazy, and everybody being like, oh my God, yeah, she's crazy. And I fucking hate that shit. Like, I will never, ever forget one of my... Okay, I'll say it. One of my best friends and I've said it before, like on the Patreon, I think maybe, but one of my best friends and I hooked up. And then I was like, oh God, I wish we didn't do that. I just want to go back to normal. Let's just go back to normal, be friends. And so I thought we were on the same page with that. And like, I'm calling him like, hey, okay. Like, this was the friend that I could have come over when I was like, no makeup, no bra, PJs with my entire family at midnight. Like, that was that friend. So like, it just didn't feel like we wouldn't snap back to be friends. So I'm like calling him and I'm like, hello, like you can't just ignore me. What the hell is this? Like I thought you said nothing would change. So we just go back to normal, whatever. And he completely dropped off the face of the earth, ghosted me for an entire year. And, you know, whatever the reason was, whatever. But the fact of the matter is he told all of our friends that I was crazy and wouldn't leave him alone. And that I like would not stop calling him and texting him. And that I was like obsessed with him after this happened. And I remember my friends, my guy friends telling me that and being like, it just didn't really sound like you. Like my reputation was sort of being the person that did that. Like that like dropped off the face of the earth. So maybe it was my karma, but like I wouldn't have done that to a friend. And like, I was just so grateful that these guys were like, it just doesn't really sound like you. But I'm like, I bet when you were talking to him, you were like, oh yeah, she's fucking crazy. And it was like, dude, you know I'm not crazy. You know I'm calling you not because I want to be with you. I'm not even in the same state as you anymore. I'm calling you because I thought we were friends. And like, I guess we're not. So I just felt like I hate that idea of men can just take whatever they want and say that you're crazy and everyone goes with it. And we're just seeing it on such a big scale right now. Like Jesse's making himself look so bad. His appearance on Watch What Happens, the way he's talking to the Paps, what he's doing on social media. He's not doing himself any favors. And yet the narrative is still Lexi's crazy.
Yeah, I like what
hate
Lexi
it.
said at the end because it's finally highlighting what I think we need. I think what she and Sierra needed to address from the start is that the truth that Jesse is feeding both of them about each other is affecting the way that they can develop a relationship. And Lexi's like, I don't trust you because of everything he's said.
I know.
And
I was like, good for her, because I was like, I would not feel comfy saying that to Sierra.
I know. For a second, I
not.
was like, do we really want to invoke Sierra's name real quick? But
That's how I feel.
I do think
And
Sierra is
like
also
Paige
starting
like,
to like. I think Sierra is. I think she's ready for someone to confirm what she thinks about Jesse.
I don't know, dude.
I mean, I don't know now because of how she's acting, but in the party
and the whole thing with
in the
Tinks,
season,
have you seen all this stuff about Tinks?
No, and I don't even know who that is. I feel like an 80-year-old person every time someone brings up Tinks.
No.
What the fuck?
I
does
don't really
that
know
mean?
Tinks either. I know she's got a podcast and she's really good friends with Hannah Berner and I believe Paige. And I believe Sierra. And so she and Lexi, of course, get put on Watch What Happens together, which like, oh my God. And I felt like they both carried themselves well, but it was clear that Tinks was like not Team Lexi. And then Tinks does a TikTok with Jesse Solomon where it's like obvious that like, and it's after the Lexi appearance. So it's just kind of like, okay. And then they go and watch what happens. And somebody says, did you think it was awkward? Like, why do you think it was awkward? Did Tinks slide in your DMs, Jesse? Is that why it was awkward with her and Lexi? And he was like, was it awkward? I'm like, you sly fox. I know you knew it was awkward.
I hope it didn't. I hope it doesn't affect Lexi's future on the show because I would like to see her back.
I would like to see her back too. And I think like she's very mature and I think she's proven that like she can handle it. She can handle being back in the house.
Funny because
if she couldn't, she would not have broken up with him on a Friday.
She does still strike me as young, but she is so mature. Like it's just interesting the way that her personality like comes across.
She's had to grow up fast just being in the modeling industry. And like, did you ever listen to her on Viall Files? Well, it was really, I mean, she talks a lot about how like her immigration, because she's Canadian, so like her immigration was like a really big deal, and like she had agents who would like lord her immigration status over her head, and like the things she had to learn moving to like America to New York at like, you know, 16 or whatever, and like going to New York and doing this with her sister and making this happen. And she was like, the way you have to like skirt all these things. It reminded me of the way Anna Kendrick talks about like her first Broadway gig and stuff. Like it's not the same, but just I think she's dealt with like she's very well spoken. She's very well media trained. He asked her about her relationships with Brooklyn Beckham and like all these things. And she was just like, I mean, like we were really good friends, and she didn't say anything bad. She gave like just enough. Like, I just think I would love to see her on my screen more. I don't know that she like needs this. I think she's pretty big, but I also just don't like, I'm like, in the real world, the way these girls are acting towards Lexi, this would never happen in the real world if they didn't meet and she was like the newbie on Summer House. Because like, look at her roster, look at her resume, all of these things. Like, you guys would be friends with her if you met her in the real world. But the fact that she came into your territory, I know, and I'm just like, why do we trust Jesse? Look what he just did to you, Sierra.
At the end, when we're in, I don't know if this is the end, but when Jesse's explaining to Sierra, Paige, and West like what he thinks happened. And you see West put his head in his hands as Jesse continues
he knows.
to in my opinion,
talk shit on Lexi.
In my opinion, a lot of what he's saying also I don't think it's true, or it's an embellished version of the truth. And
West
and
you
is putting his head in
on Jesse's face.
West is just
he knows
like,
he shouldn't be saying it.
West is like has his head in his hands, and he's like, wait. You were making this so much worse because now we're going to have to go out to dinner, and now everybody has a different version of the truth. Yeah. And you're not going to be able to keep this straight, I don't think.
And then Kyle talking to Lexi being like, yeah, so I heard you broke up with him because of Sierra. And Lexi was like, excuse me. And Lexi and Sierra are the two queens of, I'm going to say something. Yeah. When Jesse's like, please don't say anything, Sierra's like, I'm going to say something. Wes is like, oh, Sierra's going to say something. Like, everyone knew. She's like, I'm going to, yeah.
And it's like, Jesse, you knew that. So Jesse, why did you say anything?
Well, that's why he did it.
Oh, he's such an I can't.
I feel like I could see on Jesse's face.
He's the villain.
Exactly. I felt like I could see on Jesse's face when everyone came in the room. He was like, well, she didn't like that. I was with Sierra on Sunday. And I was like, you didn't have to say that, because that's not what this conversation was just about on the patio. And you could see him be like, oh, I shouldn't say this because this is what kept getting me in trouble in the first place, but he does it anyway. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. We need to remember that Jesse's the villain. Him being on Watch What Happens and just digging himself this deeper, deeper hole. I could not believe when Andy was like, so like, Jesse, you getting mad at Lexi for doing the same thing, like getting mad at Lexi for flirting with Wes. And Jesse's like, never happened. Jesse literally goes, never happened. And Andy goes, yes, it did. It was on camera, right? Like, and Wes is like, dude, just, it's okay. Just say it. And Jesse's like, no, I'm pretty sure I said I was glad she was doing that. Cause then now it's like, we're all one big flirty family. And Andy was like, I'm pretty sure that that's not what you said. Like, they get into it. Andy's like, you're not going to gaslight me on my own fucking show. And also Jesse seemed wasted. He seemed so like, it's whatever. She's going to talk about me all she wants.
Hate when men especially, but anybody, when they know they're either wrong in an argument or they just like are over something, then they start acting like that. Like they're above it and like they're better than it. Like, and Jesse doesn't need to talk about it. Oh, it's sort of like
what you do.
No, that's
not to start a fight.
No.
But that is your move.
No, it's not. It's
you go,
not.
whatever. Let's just drop it, okay? Whatever.
No, but I don't say it in a condescending way. I'm just like,
I know.
I'm able to quickly get over things when I'm wrong.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't realize it, but that's good to know. All right, the last thing I want to talk about for pop culture, I know we've been talking forever, but let's go over the Bachelor in Paradise cast a little bit.
Okay.
Because we got some old favorites, and it was exactly what we asked for, so we were kind of thrilled about that, were we not?
Yes. Okay,
here's what we got. I'm only going to read the people that we know.
Okay, yeah, which is like 5 people.
Wait, there's a guy from The Golden Bachelor on it?
Oh, boy.
Wait, is this real? What am I looking at? Oh, my God. There are 2 people from The Golden Bachelor.
Woof.
What? Okay, the runner-up, Leslie from Golden Bachelor with Gary, and then a guy named Gary Livingston who was on Jones' season.
What? So they're like, okay, you guys just go have fun, hopefully.
That's fucking crazy. Okay, people that we know though. God, I hate
Dale.
Dale is crazy. I thought Dale feels like a major get for them
as
to get back on that beach.
Claire gives going on her story another classic clout chasing move. Send Matt James to the beaches too.
Exactly.
Period. Rock and roll emoji.
Yeah, she's like
black
onward
screen.
And upward, ladies. Yeah, black screen. Classic
but it's
font.
not create. It's not create mode. It's she put her phone camera up to her pants.
Up against her yeah. God, before I realized I could do create, I was like, how are people getting these perfect back photos? Okay, Jill Chin. I'm like, okay,
it's like
girl,
Lady Gaga trying to do the boomerang. She's like, how are people doing that?
How are people fucking doing this? Jess, this girl's name is Jess Edwards, and she looks like my hair girl, whose name is also Jess.
Jess from
she also looks like Hannah Brown.
Was she Joey's season?
She was on Joey's season. Yeah, the Hannah Brown lookalike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think then we've say something about that? Because Hannah's gonna be there.
Probably. Wouldn't doubt it. Andrew Spencer. All right, bring him back. I do love me some Andrew Spencer.
You know I do.
I really do.
Remember my 21st birthday?
Who else? Oh boy, fucking do I. Okay, another Golden Bachelor. What the fuck? April from the Golden Bachelor.
I don't know any of their names.
Is this real? She's the one who's like gives.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch those.
No, but you would recognize this girl. She keeps being brought back because she's like extra. She kind of
short black hair.
No, short blonde hair. She kind of gives Jessica Lange vibes.
I don't know.
Now, do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
You don't?
No.
Oh my God, that's so annoying. But okay. Kathy from Golden. What the fuck? There are so many people from Golden. Is this real? What am I looking at, Phoebe? There are a ton of them. Okay, I don't know. I'm done looking at that. I'm done looking at
just overwhelmed herself. Caroline goes, if I see another wrinkle,
all these pop-ups keep coming on my site, and it keeps like refreshing, and I'm just like, I can't. Let's get into our rotations. I'm on Dream, so I'll go first. Hold, please. First up, Paul Rudd. He went on Good Hang with Amy Poehler, which, by the way, have you even been listening or watching?
I watch clips. I haven't really been religiously listening though. It's on my feed, but there's not enough hours in the day.
It's the greatest hour of my week. It is literally I put it on in the morning, just as soon as it comes out, and I'm just doing my thing, and it is.
I know, but I just
literally
I consume
an
a lot of
release.
media.
Okay, well, can you just try it this week? Because I think you would love it.
I do like it. It doesn't always make it into my rotation.
Episode, obviously. And you know what? Fine. I'm just actually going to do a 3-fer. I think Amy Poehler was just on it, but I'm going to do Amy Poehler, Paul Rudd, and John Hamm. Actually, no. John Hamm. Yeah, no. Okay, it's going to be these 3. Amy Poehler because, hello, amazing podcast. Freaking love it. John Hamm, because her whole shtick with the podcast is before she has the guest come on, she calls their friends to talk about them behind their back in a good way. So she FaceTimes in John Hamm. Phoebe, this was like, if nothing else, go watch the beginning of the Paul Rudd Good Hang episode, because she FaceTimes John Hamm and he's in a white tuxedo and there's a hot air balloon in the back and he is on set filming. And he comes, like, he's like, Polarino. He like gets him, like, Polarino. He's so excited to see her. And they go over and they're just talking. He's like, oh, I actually met Paul Rudd. Oh, he was dating the girl I had a crush on. I thought he was like the coolest guy. Like, I thought he was so cool growing up when I met him. I thought he was like cool. He was the first guy to like really get famous. It was awesome. And he's in this tux and she was like, John, I'm looking at you in your natural habitat, like in a tux. He's like, yeah, in a tux in a movie set before 7 a.m. Yes, He goes, this is a personal tux, actually, because they were like, John, we need more tuxes. And I was like, well, I have some at home, and why don't you just come over and just pick which one you want. So this is actually a personal tux, one of mine. It's just like so funny. And then he turns, and the hot air balloon is there again. And he's like, yeah, I was just in that. Like, we're turning around now. We're on a little break, so I can talk. And which I just think is so cute. Like, it's so cute to think of him just like in between takes going and FaceTiming Amy Poehler to talk about Paul Rudd. Like, so he turns and we see the hot air balloon and he just looks and he goes, it kind of looks like I'm thinking about hot air balloons, doesn't it? And he makes this little face. He's like, and the hot air balloon's back here and it looks like it's like popping out of his head like a thought bubble.
FaceTiming. I love them using technology with each other.
And like she's fully talking and you can tell he's just looking at himself in the camera and he's like, wait. It kind of looks like I'm Peyton, stop calling me. This is the second time she's called me today. Peyton called me while we were like about to get on. And I texted her, I was like, I love you, girl, but I can't talk. And she texts me, okay, but I'm not feeling good today. I wanted to tell you that because I might have an ear infection. I said,
and she's given it about 4 hours. So she's like, well, surely she can talk now. Got an ear infection.
Wait, let's play it. Voicemail.
Hi, Caroline. Can you please call me?
Hi, Caroline. Can you please call me? Girl, no! Oh, my God. It's so funny. I just wanted to tell you that.
Caroline is America's big sister.
Literally, I am. He then gets on, and I have a big sister Judy coming up to me in 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Anyway. Then he gets in the hot air balloon and like they're fully like, all right, we're about to start rolling, and he's just still talking to Amy on the phone and get it like fully inside the hot air balloon. You hear it like word to life. It's amazing. Like I need you to watch it. And then Paul Rudd comes on and he is just so fucking funny. He and Amy have the best time together. They're so hilarious. He talks about how he went and auditioned for Clueless and he had like really long hair, I guess, at the time. And he leaves and he like didn't think he got the audition. And he like was walking out. She was like, I'm going to cut my hair off. And he goes and gets a buzz cut. And then he's in a coffee shop like a week later and the casting director for Clueless is there. And she's like, is that Paul Rudd? No, what did you do to your hair? What did you do to your hair? We were going to give you the role. Oh my God, you can't. And he's like, what? And she's like, you can't cut. Oh my God. Like he didn't realize like you can't change your appearance when you're like in these kind of things. And she was like, okay, we have to get a wig. And so they tried to get a wig and then he was able to grow his hair out like just enough for the role. But like they were like, you can't have
I love his hair in
cut,
that movie, so it's perfect.
I know. It's
worked
perfect.
out for me.
Anyway, so definitely, and at the very end, if you've ever seen the interview that he and Jason Segel do for Rotten Tomatoes where they're both stoned, which is like one of the greatest videos on the internet, he does this face the whole time that Jason Segel like can't concentrate when Paul Rudd makes this face. It's like, what's his face? And he makes a face. I can't even do it. And he starts making it at the very end of that because Amy Poehler starts crossing her eyes and she's like, Paul, I'm looking right at you, Paul. Paul, I am looking right at you right now. I am. And it's so Mom and Liney. And then he starts doing the face. And like, so you have to watch it. Like, there's no listening option.
It's giving Liney and Sean. Like that's, like, they would be doing that cross-eyed thing.
Amy Poehler is like always kind of reminding me of Liney. Like there's, but it's not a listen to episode. It's a watch episode. Okay. And it's a must watch. It's less than an hour. You'll love it. Okay. That's my dream rotation.
Okay. My nightmare rotation starts off with celebrities who go on Therapist with Jake Shane, and then we get the pictures of the two. There's the first picture where it's like a normal picture, and then the second picture is supposed to be the tense up picture where Jake is putting his tense up.
Right.
My night rotation is when the celebrities don't do that.
they like don't get it. They don't. It's clear that like they're not real fans.
Well, no, it's like, you know, that the picture lead-in was, okay, we'll do one normal one and then we'll do like a tense up one,
And tense
where we like
up.
put our tens, like it's just
But
like
are
this
they
thing that
doing
I
it because
do.
they like don't know what it is?
Well, what I'm
'Cause
saying
they're
is,
not, like,
I think
actually
that Jake
familiar?
Shane, he must explain it, and it just pisses me off. I don't need it to be argued. I'm getting hangry.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm asking, like, that would make me more mad.
That's what I mean.
If they, like,
That's what I'm
Don't have the respect for him, and they like don't know that that's his thing.
Well, that doesn't make me as mad. What makes me more mad is if he asks them to do it and they don't.
Okay.
I don't need them to understand it. I just need them
I
to...
could tell Phoebe was getting hangry during my rotation.
I'm
by the
so
way, but,
hungry right now.
okay.
Next is the story algorithm. Who's who? Why are you up? Why are you down? Why do some people watch my story all the time? And like, why do some stories get 80 views and other stories get like 1,000 views? What the hell?
That is what I want to say to people. Like, if I'm watching your story right away, it's just because you were there.
Yeah.
It's just because you were there. Can I say something crazy? Never mind. Go on.
Last is people on my walk specifically, but I've noticed it not just on my walks. Like, I'm like, in full disclosure, I'm on my period, so things are really
No way.
really
I'm on mine too.
Things are really pissing me off, but I just like, okay, one thing, if I'm walking and I don't walk on my phone. I have my headphones on, but I don't walk with my phone in my hand looking at my phone.
Ever?
No, I keep it in my pocket. And I smile at people that I see. I don't necessarily say hi unless I'm reading the right energy.
Hi, how are you?
If we're on the same part of the sidewalk and it's just one person and you look down, this is what I'm saying. We're cooked. We are cooked as a society. If you can't make eye contact with someone on a street, and I'm not, obviously, keep yourself safe. But all I'm saying is we have lost a certain politeness with each other.
Yeah.
And the same thing with like, I was at Publix the other day. I let all these people cross the street. Not one person waved and said thank you.
Dude,
and it's
no,
like, I don't do it for the
me-
thank you, but it's just like, really?
I don't do it for the things.
You're not going to look up at the, like, there's a person, like, it just drives me crazy. And then also when two people are walking towards you on the street and it's just you're just one person, and they don't,
that there's room.
They don't move, number one, and they also don't acknowledge you at all. They don't acknowledge that now you're in the gutter of the street so that they don't have to change. Yeah. And they don't wave, they don't say hi, they don't smile, they don't do anything.
It makes me irate.
It's like,
this is not, by the way, Phoebe, I want to make you feel normal. I think this is completely valid, and all of this, especially what you first said about the, like, I don't think this is a PMS thing is what I'm saying. Like, I think that you're 100% valid, even if you're not on your period to feel this way, because I'm sorry, if I'm passing you on the sidewalk and it's just us, you've seen me from a while ago. You know what I mean? Like, we're on the same road, so you saw me, and so you've had all this time to think about, okay, I'm just gonna like look up and like do a little smile. Like, I'll read your energy. We can match each other's energy. I'm not gonna like give you a hug. Like, it's gonna be fine. But the fact that then they don't, it's like, it's actually more awkward now. Like, and so next time that happens,
and now I'm walking away in a
I
bad
want to just
mood.
encourage you to turn around and say hi. I encourage you to do it. Turn around and say, hey there, and see what they do, and be like, sorry, I thought it was really weird. You just like looked down when you saw me. It just, what if I was a new friend?
It just like goes back to this thing of like, I think our culture is really lacking community and is forgetting what it means to be I live in a neighborhood. I live in a neighborhood where I see the same people every day on my walks. And
do you think it's like post-COVID, or
I think that's
it's
part
like
of it. I also think it's the
think
phones. I think people have such social anxiety and they're so in their head about what people are thinking of them.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
Which is where I come in with my anxiety is selfish, and sorry if that offends you.
Wouldn't it be easier if we all just a nice smile? So you like, it's it makes me, and this is what I meant more so about why I'm like think my period is affecting it is because it makes me feel like so jaded. Like I get in such a bad mood and I get like, what is happening to our world? And
I
also,
noticed this.
We have all these people where they want the village. I think I've said this. Like I said this a couple weeks ago. Like
they don't want to be a villager.
Like everybody goes online and they're like, nobody shows up for me in my life. Nobody does this. Nobody does that. It's like, well, what are you doing for the people in your life? You no, it's we
true.
live in a society where it's me, 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 I don't have to show up for anybody if it's not what's best for
and
me.
also, I'm sorry, if you're online venting about nobody shows up for you, I can guarantee you've gravely offended some of the people in your life who are undoubtedly showing up for you.
Right.
If you really don't have people showing up for you, I don't think social media is a place to go announce that. Think you need to go look for community elsewhere, because part of the reason that people aren't showing up for you is because probably all the people that
Yeah.
Like, do you mean showing up for you in the way that they're like not texting you or like whatever? Like, it's not the same. I mean, obviously there are different levels to this, but I had a class yesterday and I was like letting and they're little kids, and I'm like letting all the kids out of the class, and that my studio is underneath a restaurant. So this old man is coming out of the restaurant, and like my kids are kind of standing like in front of the door waiting. It's like 2 minutes. They're like waiting to be picked up. And this one little girl is like standing kind of like right in front of him. And there are parents standing opposite, like seeing all this happen with their kids to the side. And I'm like looking at this man. And the man just walks up and just looks at the little girl and is standing like over her, just standing there, like waiting for her to move, saying nothing. She can't see him. She doesn't know he's behind her. So, and she's 7, you know? And so he's standing there looking at her. And he like looks up at me and the parents and is like, ugh, about the kid. And I was like, here, come here, babe. Like, watch out. Come here. And so she like comes over and he goes, I guess I'll just go around. And I literally made a face. I was like, and the parents like did too, because they
well,
like,
it's
saw
just
me.
like,
I was like,
another thing is,
but I said, you know, you could say, excuse me. You could ask her to move. If there hadn't been parents there, I was very close to saying, you know, you're welcome to ask her to nicely to move. She's a child. Like, I can't.
How do you expect
if you're an
these
old curmudgeon man who's that much of an asshole, get over it.
And
like,
how do you expect these kids to learn? Like, that's the kind of man who would complain about this
see
generation.
You, dude. You're just breathing
that
down her
could
neck
have
like
been
a fucking creep.
such a friendly interaction, a positive interaction between two people.
What are you guys doing?
What was that class you guys are all coming out of?
And I figured he would ask her to move, because that's why I didn't say anything right away. Like, I figured he'd be like, excuse me. And so then I move her, and he doesn't even say, like, there's no good natured, like, oh, it's a kid. Like, it's like, I guess I'll just go around.
Right.
And it was like, yeah, go around.
It's tough.
Like, I can't.
And also, the audiobook I'm listening to is The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. And
yeah, I know.
It's my Alexa, my Spotify for some reason is the best is when I like have my sleep sounds on and music starts to play because someone asked Alexa to start playing it, or
I don't
vice
know.
versa.
Or Caroline has gone onto her Spotify
on,
and seen it for some reason it's connected to you, and I start playing haunted house noises at top volume.
Exactly.
I love doing that.
But I think in my head right now I'm very much on the like technology has just completely fucked us over, and it's gonna be a long time before we've recovered. But it is completely. I mean, it is, and it's just really sad. Like, it's sad to think that, like, but then I'll just go watch marathon videos of normal people with, you know, being able to interact, watching them watch people fulfill their dreams and act like people. It's just, it really puts a bad taste in my mouth. I understand there are
so you'll just go back to social media to get your taste of humanity.
Of the human connection. Well, I can't go outside to get it, apparently.
No,
but
that's
I did.
True. That's definitely true.
I will end on a positive note. I went to a Publix in Atlanta yesterday, and this guy came out. I was like, there was no cart like cubby, so I was going to bring it back to the store. That's another thing. If you don't put your cart back, and especially if you don't do it well, like if you just like leave it at the front of the stall, fuck you. Like. It's not that. That's someone's job. Make their life easier. They make your life easier every day. It makes that really bothers me. But so I was going to wheel it back into Publix, and he was he came out. I love in Publix they all have their aprons on. It's so cute. He's like this old, super tall man. He comes to get my thing, and I walk away. We tell each other to have a good night, and then I hear him. He sees this family starting to walk in, and he goes, I was starting to think you guys didn't like me very much. And they like had this whole interaction because they're regulars and they had like been on vacation or something, and they were back and they all said, hi, Mr. whatever his name was. Like all the kids. Sweet. It was so like, so that's my good note. People like that do still exist, but I just have noticed on my walks this past week of like, I can't believe it. I cannot believe when people do not at least smile or make eye contact with you on the street.
I know. It really is strange. And you know what, Mom? I hope you're listening, because Mom loves to tell Phoebe that she isn't good at that stuff, even though I think she thinks you're like the most kind out of us, which is probably true. But, well, actually, you guys can let us know who's more kind, me or Phoebe. I'm just kidding. But I think that like I maybe have the reputation among our family of being the person that's like, hi, like
I don't
anytime I see
necessarily do
anybody.
that, but I've always
Even
been
though
a
I hate,
smiler.
I don't really like doing it, but it's like, hey, look, we're doing it. Mom, Phoebe's doing it. We're doing it. We're trying to be the person that smiles and says hi. And it's a
Be the
shame. So
change
if you're not
you
that
wish to
person,
see
be the
in the
change you
world.
want to see in the world. Exactly.
And change begins with just one.
Exactly. That's so, and that is so true. And we've always said that.
You know, it's
We've
better to be the
literally
one
always
that
said
smiled than the one who didn't smile back.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know, so
And what was that saying I came up with? And you know what? You catch the fish you fish for.
and literally, guys, you do catch the fish you go fishing for. You catch what you fish for.
You're
Sometimes.
catching what you fish
All right.
for.
And you know what? That's not always true, because how many times have I held the door fishing for a thank you, fishing for a hello, and
Yeah,
I don't get one?
literally.
So you know what? That's the issue. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you tune in on Thursday. We are recapping episode. We are recapping season 7, episode 4 of Pretty Little Liars, called. I was trying to quiz you again because you had it last time. It's like Run, Run, Rudolph. Hit and run, run, run.
Wait, but we just
Hit
said
and
we
run,
just
run, run. That's what it
recorded
is.
it. What is it?
I just said it. I
Something,
just said it.
something
Can you not hear
Mary.
me?
No, that was that was this week's episode. Oh, for a second
Yeah.
I was going. Yeah, you're right. Hit and run, run, run.
Okay.
I
oh my God.
I,
I thought
for
we were
some
having
reason,
one of those
I
moments like
was
that one
jumping
episode
to
where I'm like,
episode 5,
Phoebe!
which is
Or, like,
something about
screaming your
Mary.
name.
It's something about Mary.
You know that episode?
Yes. I left that in. That was funny.
Yeah, people love it. Anyway, go listen to that on Thursday, and then we do have a Pretty Little Punch Bowl coming this upcoming weekend for tiers 2 and 3 on the Patreon. I'm trying to convince Phoebe next week for our pilot recap for the honorary
You
Connell
don't have to
sisters to do
convince me.
Smash.
I said yes.
I know, but then you were like around the Tonys, but that is around the Tonys.
But
So,
isn't it?
I think.
Oh
it's
wait,
my
are they in June this year?
Tonys is like yeah, they're the first Sunday in June,
Why did I think they were July?
or the second Sunday in June. Sorry, they're June 9th, I think. No, they're in June. So let's. I have no idea why I said June 9th. I have no idea what I think. For maybe they're the 5th. I don't know. But the point is,
It's none of my business.
Megan Hilty, star of Smash, is nominated for a Tony, and the musical Smash
Oh my
is
gosh,
nominated
we
for a
didn't
Tony
even
as
talk
well.
about the Crucible.
Do you want to quickly do it? I have like 2 minutes.
No, we don't. But I.
Okay, guys, remind us next week. We got to talk about Arthur Miller, because Phoebe didn't know he was married to Norma Jane, Marilyn Monroe, which is why I was like, wait, I thought, okay, what? How have you not watched Smash? And I was saying this to Anthony, and he was like, Caroline, that's like pretty normal for someone to not have seen that show. Like, it might be a deep cut. And I was like, not in my world.
Well, that's
not
no,
in
but
my world.
I did.
Phoebe and I talk about it every week.
I had this realization of like, I think both of us have such cultural knowledge by osmosis. Like, there are things that
Yeah.
I have seen that you
'Cause
haven't
you know all
seen.
these songs
that you
from
know,
it. Like,
yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I love musical theater. You know that.
I know, which is why you're gonna absolutely be insane for this show.
All I'll say about the Crucible
Catherine
is that we
McPhee,
realized
Jeremy Jordan, Megan Hilty,
we realized
Christian Borle.
that we had it all
Really?
wrong. And I
Never
can't believe we
messing.
didn't have it wrong. I can't believe
Ryan
we had it
Darcy James.
wrong. Arya is not Abigail. Arya / Mona could be Mary Warren. And obviously, I don't know how we
Yes.
didn't see this before. Allison is Abigail.
Allison is Abigail, followed by Spencer, but Allison is Abigail. Like, if there's ever been an Abigail Williams, I think is her last name, that it's Allison DeLaurentis.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't be surprised if
yeah.
Sarah Shepard was like, that's who that's based on.
I'm like, not me about to text Sarah and be like, hey, Phoebe and I just had a total mind meld moment. Did you know that Allison DeLaurentis is just Abigail from the Crucible reincarnated? And Sarah's gonna be like, yes, it's in the afterword of the book. Hello. Anyway, all right, guys, thank you so much for listening. We had a great time chatting with you today. Tune in to all the fun stuff we've got going on. And yeah, it sounds like we're going to get a Smash first episode recap, and Phoebe is going to be absolutely entranced, agog-agast. I can't wait. Thank you guys for listening. Please leave us a 5-star review. It would mean the absolute world to us. Listen on Apple Podcasts. That's where I want you guys to listen now. So, but listen wherever. I'm a Spotify user. Love you guys so much, and we'll see you next week.
And Splat.
And Splat. No Robert Durst this week.
Got him all.
I already stopped it.